Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Draft Day. I say another as if they've been coming out regularly, but this has been a 8-9 month hiatus since we last did a draft because I moved away and then I moved on the ocean and then I moved back home. So we're gonna pre-record a lot of drafts this year, so we can give you drafts all year round. But this is gonna be our first draft, our annual goodbye previous year, hello next year draft, and this year, of course, being goodbye 2025 and hello 2026. My most anticipated video is coming out soon. So this is going to be kind of a precursor to that, but I wanted to kind of do the bridge first and then give you my most anticipated video later this week. So you'll be getting that later this week. But I can't do this alone because this is not a show that I like to do alone because I like friends and I like companionship. So let's bring in some friends here, starting with someone that you actually have seen pretty regularly, pretty recently. Chad is back. Co-host a picture of this. How you doing, Chad?
I'm doing great. I'm ready to talk 2025 leading into 2026. I'm currently wearing my Chris Stuckman Shelby Oaks shirt.
Okay.
As a backer, I got a shirt, and I don't know if that'll be a movie that I pick from, but
We'll see. Yeah,
yeah,
the best picture frontrunner. It's gonna be fun because we also will talk about a lot of the nominees for picture this, but we haven't. I mean, we kind of know what each other likes at least, but in terms of
yeah.
like number one of the year, it'll probably be revealed today, so that'll be kind of fun because we always know what our number ones are going to be on picture this pretty much because we know what our favorite movies of the year were. So picture this is always a little different on the Oscar years, but I feel like our discussions are still great. But this will be a kind of fun coming out party reveal party to reveal what our favorite movies of the year were. But I'm very, very, very excited. And another co-host of the channel, you haven't seen him in a while because we put our show on hiatus for a little bit. But we do have something up our sleeves coming very soon. But before that, before we get to the sleeves, we got to get to the gloves. Matty Fresh, welcome back. How you doing, man?
Muted.
Matt, I think you're muted, and I
Okay.
think I am laggy. I am laggy.
So-
You're muted. We're doing great.
I was muted. Sorry. Yes. Anyway, I'm very, very excited to be here. My channel has been on hiatus since October, so I haven't done anything really in a while. So I'm excited to get back in here and talk about this. You say you don't like to do this by yourself. Imagine Dylan just drafting 5 drafts all by his lonesome.
Multiple
That would be very
personalities. That'd be a fun acting exercise. Maybe I'll do that one day on the boat. I'll just record a draft day by myself and play 5 different characters. I'll play all 5 of us. How about at this table? I'll get a long blonde wig for our next person. I'll get some cool sunglasses for our final panelist. And then I'll try to find a signature item for each of you as well, Matt and Chad. That'll be fun.
You do a long
But speaking of,
blonde wig for me too.
yeah, I could get a long hair wig for you as well. But the person I was alluding to, of course, Chad's wife and co-host of Welcome to Primetime and a frequent guest. We love to have her here on the channel. It is Kerri. Kerri Webb, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Very good. It's good to see you. I did see Chad and Kerri on the boat, which was really, really fun. But I haven't talked to y'all since face to face. So this is going to be really fun. I've talked to Chad, but I'm excited to just pick everyone's brains on their favorite movies and series of the year. It's going to be very, very exciting. And last but not least, you sometimes know him as Adam, but here you know him as Mr. JD. JD, how's it going? Welcome back to Draft Day, sir.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The sunglasses are not here right now, but I'm doing well. I am doing perfectly great, and I'm glad to see your face. It's been a while.
Thank you. Yes, I'm glad they all get to see my face too, and my voice and whatever brain I have left as well. But this is our panel. I'm very excited. I love best of the year lists. I don't do a top 10 on my channel because I do the Pickle Awards, so it's kind of fun. Like this can kind of be our discussion point because I won't release a Pickle Awards for another month and a half. So I'm really, really excited for this. Do we have any questions? I mean, I got to get to the rules first, and then I'll ask if anyone has any questions, and then we'll get into our draft order. But how this draft is going to work, as always, we pick one film from the year, one series or season of television from the year. So if it's an ongoing series, you pick that season. I know I have a typo there. And then a scene from either a movie or series of the year. And then an MVP. This can be any performer in any field, in any genre, in any medium, film, television. If you want to pick like a musician, I guess we can talk about it. Who had just a great year of 2025. It could be a single performance or a single piece of art, or it can be a body of work. I always tend to go for the more the merrier type picks, but then we also have a lot of great just single performances throughout the year. So it'll be really great to hear what everyone has to bring to the table for that one. I think that's the most expensive one. And then most anticipated of 2026. We already know some movies that are actually on the calendar, some that we know are going to come out next year that aren't officially slated for a date, but a lot of great picks to choose from there. And if anyone disagrees with the eligibility of a pick, we can veto. You need at least 3 of the 4 other panelists to veto in order to overturn. I don't really know how we would veto unless it's like a festival release that hasn't been officially coming out in 2025 maybe, or if we disagree with the television season because it had half of it aired last year, half of it aired this year type deal. But I don't anticipate us getting a lot of vetoes in this one. And don't tip your picks. Try not to, at least. If you're talking about an MVP, of course, you can also talk about all the films they're in. That's fine. But let's try to not like spoil like I did off air when I was talking about a specific series that Matt might pick today. But we will be deciding a draft order by the wheel as always. So before I get into the wheel spins on my handy dandy new iPad, so it's a big wheel this time. So there's no shenanigans today. Does anyone have any questions about the actual categorizing or categories or any eligibility? Cool. All right. So let's get into this. So this picks the order. So whoever gets first on the wheel gets to pick their spot in the order. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to go first. It just means you get your choice of where you go in the order. And it's not rigged, I promise. It's not rigged, I promise. It's JD. Okay. I was worried. I was like, it looks like it's going to me. But all right, JD, where are you going to go in the order here?
I was between 2. I'm going to take a calculated risk. I may regret this, but I'm going to go 5.
You're going to go 5th? Okay, you want that back-to-back because we do these snaked. So this will be really interesting. Okay, it looks like it's going to be either Kerri or Chad. It's going to be Kerri. Kerri, do you want to go first, second, third, or fourth?
First.
First pick of the draft is going to be Kerri. Awesome. All right, boom. All right, here we go. Between the 3 hosts of the channel, let's see. Who's getting lucky? It looks like it's going to be Chad. It is Chad.
Oh.
All right, Chad, where do you want to go in the order?
Let me go. I'll go second.
All right, we're right where we are. And let's see how this is going to round out. Matt and Dill. It looks like it's going to be Matt. Yep, it's going to be Matt. Matt, where would you like to go, third or fourth?
I'll be the hinge. I'll go third.
You'll go third. Okay. And that means I am fourth. Not necessarily where I wanted to be, but I'm happy with it. I get to get 2 picks pretty close. And hey, I think that's the first time I've ever been the last one on the wheel. So new year, new wheel. Very, very good for everyone's sanity here.
No more stats for Dill.
I promise. No more rigging in the year of 2025 or 2026, I should say. I can't believe we're saying that already. It's 2026. We're more than halfway through the decade, which if you haven't voted for the top 10 films of the century or the quarter century, I put that link in one of my videos. I'll put it on the link of the description of this video too. We're going to compile a top 100 list at the end of the year, which is going to be really fun. So, Kerri, you are first up on the clock. You got all the options in front of you. What are you going to go with for your first pick?
Okay. I'm gonna go with my 2025 film. And
Okay.
it's my number 1 overall, and it's my number 1 horror movie of the year, and that's Sinners.
Nice.
Nice.
Okay, why are you picking Sinners, Kerri?
Yeah, man, this is just such a fantastic movie. Like when you get Ryan Coogler together with Michael B. Jordan, it's going to be fantastic. But for them to do a horror movie together, and specifically a vampire horror movie about, like post World War culture in the South for Black Americans, it's an incredible film. The music is amazing. Everyone, like all the actors are just so fantastic. And just I don't know, like the ending of this movie, it really hits for me. I guess I don't want to talk too much about the ending in case there's someone who hasn't seen it. But just overall, like the music and the gore and how this starts off, like basically the first 45 minutes or so is kind of more of a straight drama film. And then it just turns into a horror movie. I love movies like that just kind of switch genres halfway through the movie. And it can be really hard to pull off, and I think it's pulled off very well here. There's some great gory moments, some great horror moments, beautiful music. So yeah, I think it's just one of the best of the year.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, this was one of the only movies I actually saw before getting on the boat with my whole cast. It was really great. And just the silence in the theater, but there was still like that energy after it wrapped, where everyone's just kind of sitting with it, with the weight of it, but also then like feeling the energy of what they just watched. There are certain scenes that I'm not going to talk about because they might come up on this draft, but certain moments in this film that everyone just collectively like kind of just dropped their dropped their jaws. No, Freudian slip. But dropped their jaws at. That's a hard phrase to say. But yeah, just an incredible film. It was my number one of the year, probably up until I saw another film recently, the last few weeks. So it kind of held on all year as like my favorite movie of the year. So I'm really happy that it's represented here on this draft. Also because it's an original film, and I feel like for a big blockbuster, we don't get a lot of original blockbusters that actually do well at the box office. So I think all the original films we'll draft today didn't even come close to the top 10. This one did, and I think that's a testament to how good it is, and just the genre blending and Coogler's abilities here. So and great visual effects, very underrated visual effects. The Michael B. Jordan stuff is so seamless. You would not realize that was the same actor playing two roles unless you knew, which obviously we all do. But really, really impressive. Any thoughts on Sinners? My gentleman on the right here. Any thoughts on Sinners?
Matt, do you want to go first? I'm perfectly fine with you going first if you want to talk about it.
Yeah, I'll go first. This I'm glad you took this off the board because there were several that I was between picking. It wasn't my number one of a year, but it's top three. Like it's so good. It's probably it might be my favorite vampire movie now, like ever made. Like I don't know. It's a little new to call it that, but it's up there for me. Just for a white man, Ludwig Göransson is so good at capturing in multiple films because he works with Coogler all the time. I was talking with Chris, who people know from this show, my friend Chris. We were talking about it, and for he captures exactly what is perfect for all of those Ryan Coogler movies, and his music in this is so freaking good. I also will say that the lead vampire, I forget the actor's name all of a sudden.
Jack O'Connell.
Yes, is incredible in this movie. Everybody is great in this movie, but him in particular really captured my attention, and yeah, I just love this movie. It was such a great experience at the movie theater, and it's a movie that I really love, so excellent choice.
Yeah, JD, I know you were chomping at the bit to speak about this.
No, I was going to say I think no, I was saying it was Jack O'Connell. It's this movie for a while. I generally don't do when I release my best of the year lists, I don't rank them because I really have tiers. But this was in the top tier for a long time. There were two movies that were kind of in that top tier going back and forth, and until recently, there's a third one that I may talk about. But it is one of the few movies I saw multiple times this year. It is easily, as I said, it can be so fun, it can be so scary, it can be so emotional, and I think there are moments in this movie. Again, we're not trying to picks, but we're for later. But there are moments in this movie that just boggle your mind, and I don't think there's any. I don't think I've never seen a movie say, you know, hint at things and then pay them off in such a spectacular fashion.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Chad, any thoughts on Sinners?
Yeah, Sinners is incredible. This is one that I've been kind of like flirting with, like always putting as my number one, and even just like listening to the music sometimes on Spotify, it just really makes me want to rewatch the movie because just like yeah, Matt mentioned the score, but even like just like the soundtrack, otherwise is also really incredible. And hope to see some of those songs nominated for Oscars. As it's probably going to end up like the most nominated film of all time or something. Maybe
Could be.
we'll see. And I don't know. It's just one of those that it's like a From Dusk Till Dawn kind of style movie, but it's like so much more than that. I don't even really like that movie that much, like seeing that like expanded upon, like the juke joint and spaces for Black Americans in the past. It's a period piece, it's a vampire film, it's really scary, it's funny sometimes, has great characters, it's just just a really great story. And yeah, those visual effects are just incredible, like like you said, the Michael B. Jordan stuff, but also just like the vampire effects and just how they do uh vampire lore in the past. I think that's always really incredible. That's something that like Robert Eggers does really well, and I feel like now to see Coogler pop into some horror is really really exciting, because it seems like he's trying to do a bunch of different stuff, and he exceeds at everything he does, like sports, superheroes, horror. And so yeah, I'm really excited. I loved seeing this movie in the theater. Like the whole IMAX experience was incredible. Like when I'll say something happens and something gets let in somewhere and then the frame opens and you're just like, holy shit. It's just like one of the big moments that you're just like of the year, that you're like, that was really incredible. So this was a great pick, Kerri. Good job.
Yeah, great.
I will say that I realize the reason that I keep forgetting Jack O'Connell's name is because he has a very similar name to somebody we may talk about in MVPs later today.
Yeah, I had to double check myself before I said it. And I'll say right now, I mean, we already said his name, but Jack O'Connell, not only in this movie, in another really great movie this year. So maybe he'll come up as well. But all right, Chad, we'll continue with you. Sinner's great number one pick. I think it's a really great representative as the number one film of this year, even if we all might have our own personal taste. I think it's a good collective number one for this draft. But Chad, what is going to be your number one, either film, series, MVP, scene, or most anticipated of the year?
So it's funny someone mentioned something recently, because I have a category that is very low, shallow. There you go. And so I'm gonna pick from that because I feel like with like film and stuff like that and series, I feel like there's some that I might like more, but there's others that I would totally be happy to have. So I'm gonna go with my MVP, and I am picking Josh O'Connor.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
the reason why, not that I've seen everything he's done from 2025, but he's done a lot. I'll just rattle it off. I have it right here. Rebuilding, The History of Sound, The Mastermind, and Wake Up Dead Man. I'll say I think Rebuilding. I'm watching it for Indie Spirits. A little on the dry, kind of dull side, that one, but I think really important too. And the other two, I'm really excited to see, History of Sound and Mastermind. But Wake Up Dead Man, I thought was incredible movie. I know that's kind of might be, tipping a pick for later for someone maybe, but I just have to say that his performance in that was like really incredible. He was the standout of the film. I mean, he was kind of the main character of it anyways. But just what he does in that movie is just so incredible. And I went, wanting to go back and rewatch the movie just because of him in the movie. Where it's usually Daniel Craig, and he's amazing in the movie too, but Josh O'Connor is incredible. And also, I know a lot of people here love Challengers. I didn't, but what I did love about Challengers was Josh O'Connor. He was like my favorite part of the movie. So I'm really excited to see his rise, like after that, having, a great performance that people love in that, and then going to 2025, and then now being in another film that might get mentioned. I know I won't, but he's
I
gonna
was
be
like, I was holding my breath. I was like, don't say it, don't say it, don't say it.
I won't. And then I'm just excited to see like where his career is going to go from there, because it's going to be, he's like already starting to get with big directors and stuff like that. It's going to be a pretty cool career. So yeah, and he's just been in a lot. So Josh O'Connor.
Yeah, probably the most credits of the year. I was looking to make sure we didn't miss any because there's so many. I think it's okay to tip picks of movies if you're talking about the MVPs. Like it's you have to bring up what movies they've been in. So don't worry about that. But I haven't seen Wake Up Dead Man yet, so I'm really excited to. I've heard he's great in it. I also haven't seen any of the movies he's in, so I didn't put him on my list only because I haven't seen any of those. But I'm excited to watch them. I just remember the story about the Mastermind being one of the AMC mystery movies and it having like record number of walkouts because everyone was expecting this like cool crime heist movie or whatever, and it ended up being like this anti-heist movie in a way. It's Kelly Reichardt film, so what do you expect? But a lot of normies aren't used to that. So it's really fun to just see them kind of like watch this Kelly Reichardt film and be like, what is this? And walk out. So really cool story there. Like, I hope he has a really great year next year, and hopefully get some awards attention soon, because I feel like he's always on the bubble. He's always in these movies that are very populist but never really crack into the awards stuff like Challengers, Wake Up Dead Man. So I'm hoping he'll have that, maybe not next year just because of the type of movie that is, but I'm hoping at least in the next few years we'll see him at least get some acting nominations for something, which would be really, really cool. Anyone have anything to say about Josh O'Connor? I know, Matt, you talked about what is his name? O'Connell, Jack O'Connell. What about Josh O'Connor?
So Josh O'Connor is on my list, and the only one I've seen is Wake Up Dead Man from his things, but I've seen the trailers for the rest, and just from that power, Challengers was my favorite movie from last year, and so that was last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, from last year, and to be honest, as a Mike Feist guy, he was the highlight for me in that movie, but I had never seen Josh O'Connor before, I didn't know I had seen Josh O'Connor before. Right. Like I had seen him before, I was really impressed with him in that, and so coming into this year, seeing him in all kinds in that he was in a lot of stuff made me really excited, and he was great in Wake Up Dead Man. Definitely the highlight. Which you're right. Usually it's Benoit Blanc, but this time it was definitely Josh O'Connor stole that show. So. That's a great pick. It's on my list just simply because I like him so much, even though I haven't seen most of the movies that he was in. But it's a great pick.
Yeah. Kerri, any thoughts on Josh O'Connor?
Yeah, he was definitely also my number one 2025 MVP pick. He really has, like, this has been his year. I feel like as an actor, like Chad said, he was in like 4 movies that came out this year. I think he also did some stage work as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I only have seen one of his movies that came out this year, Wake Up Dead Man, but I feel like I've been hearing about him nonstop. He was fantastic in Wake Up Dead Man. He was fantastic in Challengers. Very excited to see his other movies. I do feel like, just like as far as like actors who I was thinking of who really, this seemed like their breakout year, I felt like this was his breakout year.
Yes. I'm trying to see. Yeah, his SNL episode was also this year, which he was really great in too. So that's another thing you can put the notch in the belt for, Chad. I don't want to talk about the movies he's going to be in next year because one of them might be on my list, but just working with those 2 directors is just massive. So I'm really hoping he can level up and just, create a great career next year as well. JD, any last thoughts about Josh O'Connor?
As I said, he's great. I think I took a similar tack to you, though. I had only seen, like everybody else here, we've only really seen of the movies that you saw, Wake Up Dead Man, and I really wanted to see like Mastermind and The History of Sound, and it did not play anywhere. So I'm like, I don't.
Do you have Mubi, JD? Do you have Mubi?
Yeah, I do have Mubi. It's just there's so many other things I got to catch up on now for the Oscars, and none of it
is there. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I'm like, it's just like a timing thing, but like I will, but yeah, it's like as I said, but I love him. I've loved him since
He's
The
great.
Crown when he played like young Prince Charles. He was amazing. And Wachima, no one talks about Wachima. He's great in Wachima.
I know. Yeah, he's great. Cool. Yeah, I love Josh O'Connor. I wish I could talk about his movies this year. I
Yes.
again, being on a boat for 9 months, I have not seen
Yeah.
as much as I should have. Which is why I'm nervous for this draft. But Matt, you get now your first pick. Pick 3 of round 1. What are you gonna go with?
All right, I'm excited because often in these drafts, there is one category that I only put one thing in because that's the only, because I like manifesting that this is going to be mine, and sometimes that doesn't pan out for me, but luckily this time it did, and that is my 2025 scene, and the scene that gave me an out of body experience in 2025. Literally sitting in the theater, out of body experience. It's from Kerri's favorite movie. It's I Lied to You, from Sinners. Literal out of body experience while I was watching that. It was incredible. I wished I wasn't in the theater so I could rewind it. Which I'm glad I did, because I've watched that scene. I've seen that scene way more times than I've seen the movie. And I've watched it again, and I'm like, okay, the theatrical experience of that was definitely a plus to it. Still works on home video on the TV screen, but just being in the theater with the sound, and everybody in my theater was just quiet. Like it was almost like everybody was holding their breath during that scene. It's one of the greatest scenes I've ever seen in my life. Like it's so good. So I'm glad that I got that. That was always going to be my first round pick. I did not choose any other scenes for this draft. So I lied to you, Sinners.
When this movie is like it's a period piece, and then it's like, no, we're gonna break the rules and we're gonna take you through an experience through time and space and history, and just all through the power of music. It's just so incredible. And like I agree, like, you know, I mentioned another scene from Kerri's movie, but this scene is the top tier, because it is the jaw-dropping, like, what are we doing here? This is amazing kind of a thing. Like, I've never seen something like this before, and the music's incredible, the visuals are incredible, and it's just, you know, one of those fantastic scenes. The reason why I spoke up first is because this was also my number 1 pick.
It was my number 1.
It was mine. If Matt didn't take it, I was going to take it as my first round pick.
Yeah, no, I agree. As soon as Kerri picked Sinners, I was like, that's fine, because I'm taking the scene. And then, of course, I got fourth pick here in this draft. So this would have been my next pick. So, Matt, that was very smart on you, very strategic, even if it wasn't meant to be strategic, because it sounded like JD probably would have gotten it too with one of his first 2 picks. But I agree. You all have said everything that needs to be said. Did anyone mention that it's 1 take as well? It's 1 take as well, which is amazing.
I didn't mention it, but
I know, that's great.
Which is amazing. Yeah, the fact that it's also 1 take. I can see why this is the cinematography frontrunner, and I'm shocked that Coogler is not the director frontrunner. I know overdue narratives are overdue narratives, but like this is like, I don't know. I think if you pull off this scene, in addition to just pulling off this movie in general, I don't know. This should be a shoe-in for Best Director. It's not, only because it is such a stacked year. And he might not even be my Pickle Award winner, which is crazy, just how good a year it was. But this is such a great sequence. So good.
He's probably going to get screenplay, though, so we still have that. They'll have that.
This is a shoe-in, I think, for original screenplay. But just like this whole visual sequence is just amazing. The sound and just so good. Kerri, do you have anything to add?
How it all fits together is just impressive.
Kerri, do you have anything to add to this scene? I know you talked about the movie, but anything about the scene?
Yeah, I mean, this scene is just phenomenal. And I had it on my list as well in case I didn't get the actual movie. So I'm very glad to see it represented, and that like everyone wanted this scene. I think that's just amazing. It's phenomenal.
Great. JD, any last thoughts? I know you were chiming in a little bit, but do you have any last thoughts?
No, I mean, everybody has said everything. We all love this, and it's for good reason. So we can.
Well, that throws my game plan for a little bit of a wrench, because I was like, I don't think anyone's going to take my number 1 movie. At least I didn't think JD or Matt would, so I'd be okay. Or Chad. So I guess I'm good. But the more I thought about it, I don't think anyone's gonna take my series because I only saw 3 this year, I think, in full, maybe 4. And then the scene, this is going to be my scene, so like I didn't really have like a number 2 solid, so I want to get some scenes off the board so I can whittle it down a little bit. Most anticipated, I feel like I have 3 solid choices. I don't care which one I get, so I'm gonna go with my best film just because I'm like, you know what, I might as well take it, even though I'm not necessarily worried JD or Matt or Chad is gonna take it. It's just the one that, like, for me, now that Sinners is off the board, this is like definitively the number 1 movie on my list. And it might tip what picture this is going to be, so I feel bad, but I saw it yesterday and I cannot stop thinking about Marty Supreme. It is for me the
Oh.
film of the year, the film of maybe the decade. This movie is insane and amazing. It takes everything that Uncut Gems does well and puts like a real sincere emotional thread through it and a really great commentary on a Jewish perspective post World War II. It puts a perspective on like capitalism, and it's a great sports movie. It has literally every element of everything I love in movies ever. It has a really great romance, both with Gwyneth Paltrow and Odessa Zion, even though some of those, have their flaws for sure. I think it's cool that there's a flawed main character. You still root for him. It's a really tricky balance. And you might find him to be just unbelievably toxic and unlikable, but you still root for him. And it's kind of a crazy balance that I think he also handled really, really well with Uncut Gems. I know a lot of people are saying, and I think, Chad, you share the sentiment where it's like, I think he's better Josh Safdie with his brother. I do think there's a lot that Benny brings to the work that is evident in Smashing Machine that I haven't seen in its entirety, but I've watched scenes of, that I think Josh Safdie is more of like the kind of visual, more so like he kind of creates the chaos, and Benny kind of created a lot of like the character work. But I think Josh does still a very good job in still fleshing out these characters. While it is primarily focused on what the actions are and what is going on, I think there's still so much great character stuff there where I personally didn't feel like he was at a loss without his brother as much as like the Coen brothers, for example. It's very clear who was wearing the pants in that relationship. Whereas this one, I'm like, I really do think, I think Josh here is great on his own, even more so maybe without his brother at times. Though obviously I love their partnership. And apparently the rumors of there being bad blood is not true. So I'm glad there might be a world where if the DGA changes its rules, they can work together again. But I do really, 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 really love this movie. It's just one of those movies that as soon as I turned to my mom, we were both like, that's the best movie of the year. Like that was just everything I wanted it to be and more. I know a lot of people disagree. I talked to Kelsey about it. Kelsey thinks I'm crazy for putting it in my number 1. But again, it's just one of those movies also for A24. Every time A24 has been like, hey, this is our biggest budgeted movie ever, you get like Beau is Afraid, which bombs, and then you get a movie like this where they put so much risk into their budget for this and it actually paid off. I think that's really, really cool. And I love that it is such a success. I went to a screening yesterday, was sold out 2 weeks after it came out. That's huge. In a small town in New Jersey, like that's big because there's word of mouth, there's good legs. I think Timothée Chalamet, as much as we like to give him crap for some of his antics, he is giving his performance. Like this is the performance he will be known for, I believe, which is crazy because he gave like one of what people consider the greatest biopic performances last year, and now I think already he's overshadowed that. Like I think this is just such a fully fleshed out, realized character. I didn't like his performance as Bob Dylan. I love his performance here, and I think that's just a really big testament to how much he's grown in just a year as a performer, even though he filmed these pretty close back to back. I have a list of about 25 scenes. 20 of them are from this movie. So I wanted to kind of like whittle it down, but I was like, you know what? I'll just pick it as my best movie because then it can encompass all the scenes. I won't list them off now. But some very stressful ones, very fun ones, and some surprisingly emotional ones. I think that's why I was most like enraptured by this movie, because like at the end I did not expect to be crying. I was crying at the beginning of the film, laughing at a certain gag in the opening credits, and then the end of the film being an absolute parallel to that opening, kind of bringing it full circle. Reminded me of The Substance, where I'm like, we open with the Hollywood star, we end with the Hollywood star all bloodied up. We open with what we open with, and then we end with this beautiful image at the end. I'm like, wow. Of all the movies this year that tackle anxiety of parenthood, which is pretty much all of them, literally look at any film of 2025, chances are 9 out of 10 of them will be about parenting in some way, shape, or form. I think this is one of the best ones of it, because it's not all about it, but that is an underlying thing throughout the entire film. We open with it, we end with it. It's all about parenting. It's just presented as a sports film also masked by all this great Josh Safdie stylization. So I can't wait to talk about it more on Picture This, obviously. Chad, if you want to save your thoughts for that, then you can. If you want to talk about it now, you can. But I love this movie. Undoubtedly, for me, the best movie of the year. Period. Bam!
Can I?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. So behind the scenes, a couple weeks ago, Dylan was like, I think I found my favorite movie of the year. I'm not gonna say what it is because it's not public knowledge, and I don't want to tip a pick. So I thought as you were doing your preamble that it was gonna be this, and then you were like, and then you said, and I saw it yesterday, and I was like, what? This was a complete shock to me, but a pleasant shock because I felt like I was in on an island with how much I loved this movie, considering the discourse in your Discord.
Oh, really? I haven't even looked at that. Okay, cool.
Well, there's a lot of things that I feel that people do not agree with. I agree with you that I think that that Josh Safdie is just as strong on his own. Like I don't know about just as strong, but I don't think he lost anything without Benny. I haven't seen Smashing Machine, so I can't really compare that.
Yeah.
But I've always kind of felt like, especially because a lot of times when you have a duo and one of them is also an actor in the films, you kind of realize that one of them is probably the more creative side anyway. So I always felt like that was
Smashing
probably
Machine
the
is
case.
all about character and performance, so I think it that's evident where it's like Josh was the one kind of constructing the overall image and direction, and Benny was focusing on the acting, the character, kind of just getting those moments, those more minuscule moments. Yeah, for sure.
And so I really liked this movie, and I will just say it here, I'm not going to spoil anything with it, but there's a large contingent of people who think that the dog scene or the dog storyline is not necessary, and I say that it tells you on every level what kind of a person Marty is from the beginning to the end. And so I'm just going to leave it there. But so I think it's incredibly necessary. Plus, Penn Jillette is in that sequence, and he
did not even realize that was Penn Jillette until the credits rolled. I went, "Where was Penn Jillette?" And then I read it online. I was like, "Oh my god, unrecognizable!"
I knew immediately it was Penn Jillette. I'm like, but when I saw the credits, I'm like, what's Penn Jillette doing here? And then I saw that scene. I'm like, oh, that's what Penn Jillette is doing.
That's how I felt when I saw it. I was like, Penn Jillette is in an Oscar nominated movie. And then when I saw, and I was like, okay, probably like, I imagine he's going to be playing a version of Penn Jillette, like he's going to be a magician or something.
Right, just like Mr. Wonderful.
And then whenever I finally
Mr.
saw him, it took me about 3 seconds before I went, oh, that's Penn Jillette, because I didn't recognize him for a second. And then I was like, oh, that's amazing. And he was great. Kevin O'Leary, I have a lot of personal opinions on Kevin O'Leary. I personally think that he was not all that in this movie, and there are 1,000 character actors who could have easily done that role exactly the same or better. But I think that might be my personal beef with Kevin O'Leary. Anyway, I think this is a great pick. I love it. That beginning is great, and that ending, yes, not devastating, but like, you know, as a parent, there are a lot of the parenting stuff that once you finally realize it's a parenting movie, you're like, oh yeah, I feel those things. So yeah, I really like that movie, and I'll stop talking now. I know we're talking for a long time.
Yeah, and also table tennis scenes are fantastic too. Like, we didn't really talk about the sports stuff, but like, damn. But maybe others will.
It's not really about the sports stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, like.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not. Chad, any thoughts on Marty Supreme that you want to give now?
Yeah, I'll just say, like, I'm sort of on the fence with this one. You know, I kind of I do have my thoughts where I was like, you know, well, I don't think it's as good as Uncut Gems, but I do think, you know, Timothée Chalamet is. I mean, you're gonna have that comparison. It's a similar type of movie. Just because I don't think it had the same like level of tension like throughout as Uncut Gems did, but it could have just been like my theater experience and how I was feeling at the time. I do think Timothée Chalamet is incredible, but I mean, I always like love his performances and just think he's going to just wow me every time. So it's kind of more like, you know, well, I expect that from him. So it's, you know, he's not always going to wow me, but I just think he was really incredible. So there's some stuff in the movie that I really, really liked. And then I just think it's one of those that I just want to watch again because after hearing, that it's like your favorite movie, I just did not expect that at all. And just, hearing that, I'm like, wow, okay, I need to revisit this movie. I want to watch it with Kerri when it comes out, and maybe see if I have a change of heart, because that happens all the time with me.
Yeah, Kerri, have you seen this one yet or no?
Not yet.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen this movie, but I'm excited to watch it.
Nice. Matt, I will say the one that you were thinking of that I might have picked is on my short list, but ultimately I think with time the other ones just feel a little bit more monumental, that I'm like, this is like a one that I really was surprised by and really enjoyed watching, but it's at the end of the day I have a few others above it now. I've kind of slipped it down on my list just because with time I was like, okay, maybe this isn't like the best.
I need to know what that movie is, by the way.
I will let you know at the end.
Okay.
Matt.
Okay, I just need to mention about the comparison between this and Uncut Gems. Uncut Gems, which I hate that because she's so good in that movie that I hate that she's only really known for what she said about it later. Anyway, I think that you're right. The tension in Uncut Gems is better. Is thicker and more and more tense, but I think that while they're both kind of tense comedies, Marty Supreme cuts in the tension with the comedy a lot more often, and I think that's intentional. I think that they probably Josh Safdie probably saw that. Oh wow, everybody either really loves or hates Uncut Gems. Maybe I should cut the tension a little bit, and that's probably what that is. I will say that Good Time, Uncut Gems, and Marty Supreme feel like a spiritual trilogy to me, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I would love to see now if he keeps going down this route of like really stressful, chaotic stories, or if he tries to do something different. I think that's going to be the new test. If he keeps doing this, I'm still probably going to love it, but I'm going to kind of start to feel like they're all samey, but they're so different enough in just like subject matter that I feel like it still works. And just the types of characters they are too. JD, any thoughts on Marty Supreme?
No, we can move on.
Okay, great. What is going to be your first pick? And you actually get 2 picks back to back, so deliver them how you may.
So, I mean, I think this is tough. I know what 2 categories I'm gonna do. Which one I do first, which one I do second, I don't. We'll do TV series. No one has picked a TV season yet,
No?
so I will do. So I'm going to take the first, and I think it is worthy of it. This is really the only. I had a few others as like backup, but like as I was telling people off air, I am notoriously bad when it comes to keeping up with current TV. And this is one of the few ones I actually did watch, which is Andor season 2. I think Andor season 2.
No spoilers.
No spoilers, but I will say, as far as sticking landing goes, it definitely did stick to landing as opposed to other shows that may have ended or not ended this year. But it is easily, you'd think because you know how it's going to end. You don't think it will be as emotional as you think as it's going to be. And it's funny that it was by accident. They kind of came up with the 2-season structure by accident. It was supposed to be 1 season per year, and it was going to be 5 seasons leading up to season Rogue One, and instead they did like at season 2 they did each year and within a 3 episode arc. I think it's so fascinating, and to me, there's been an argument whether this is really Star Wars or not. To me, that's really Star Wars, that there are things happens in between these years that they relate, and we just don't know about it. I think about Return of the Jedi and Empire Strikes Back. Like in Empire Strikes Back, there's been a whole couple of years have passed, and they've really there have been more victories in the rebellion, and but somehow in between that, Han Solo still hasn't been able to pay Jabba the Hutt. And the same thing with Andor. It's like it feels lived in. There are things that have happened, but we don't really need to know about them. You can just, you can think about, like, you can live in your mind about what that is, and I feel like that's really powerful. As I said, I love this series. It made me really love the politics of Star Wars, which is not something they have always done well, but it is really done well here. Just to kind of what it's like living in the Empire and like living in a kind of a dictatorship regime. It is I kind of love all that stuff. It's easily, as I said, it was the best show that I saw all year, and it really the only one on my list that, like, if I had seen more, felt worthy of being a number one pick, or even on my list. Because, like, if I had seen more, the other things on my list probably wouldn't be on my list.
Yeah.
Well, JD, I mean, honestly, it's starting to feel like we're living in the Empire in real life right now. So I feel like, at least with Andor season 1, it really rings true, and I think that, like, that really, the idea of rebellion and, like, pushing back against the system, I don't think, in my opinion, has ever really been expressed as well as it has in Star Wars, until we got Andor season 1, and I just thought that was, like, so incredible. Kerri and I started season 2. We watched the first, I think, 3 episodes, and then we were going on to episode 4, and we were like, kind of bored with this, to be honest. And I think we had, like, other things that we were trying to get to, and then, like, I was talking to people who were like, this thing won, like, an Emmy for writing, and it's just so incredibly written. It's like one of the best shows, like, ever. I love this thing. And then I'm, like, talking to people. I'm like, when does it get good? And then apparently it was right after we stopped. It was when it starts to really get good.
Here's the other thing too. Like, I also didn't watch it the exact way. Like, I didn't do it week to week. What I did was, like, I did by free episode arc by free episode. Oh, they did do that. I take that back. They released every free episodes in 4 weeks. See, you had to watch. That's how I did it. I watched all 3 episodes back to back to back, and that really helped. Because, like, they're all one arc. They all kind of play into each other. So I feel like that's part of. If you just stop with episode 4 without seeing the other 2, it doesn't really make sense. Kind of where they're going.
But I'm excited to get back into it. We'll get to it.
Yeah.
Nice. I haven't seen it, so I can't add anything. Matt, have you seen it?
I didn't even finish season 1, so no, I haven't. I do intend to. I liked it. I do want to address the idea that something isn't Star Wars. That's one of my favorite things about the Star Wars fandom. Of a lot of things that I dislike about Star Wars fandom, there's 50 years of not 50, but 40 some years of canon and not canon Star Wars out there. Star Wars is a lot of things. And the same people who will say something like that isn't Star Wars will also say, why aren't they doing the extended universe stuff? Those Star Wars fans are hard to deal with. Anyway, that's it.
It is totally fair.
Cool. Anyone else have anything else to add on Andor season 2? I know, Kerri, you haven't finished it either. So, cool. Let's move on then to JD's second pick, starting off the second round. JD, what are you going to go with for your film, most anticipated, MVP, or scene?
I think at this point, I'm pretty, as I said, I think the next pick is going to be my movie. And funny, you said you saw your pick yesterday. I also saw my pick yesterday, which is No Other Choice.
I knew this was coming.
No Other Choice. That, as I said, it is easily. I was looking forward to this movie. I was not necessarily prepared for how much I ended up enjoying this movie the way that I did. Um, it is it is it is, as I said, it is well acted. You go in for because it's like the front man from Squid Games, Lee
Mhm.
Byung Hung. But then there's so many other good actors in it too. Like the person who played his wife, it was I'm pulling it up. Song Lee
Song
Jin.
Ye Jin.
Yeah, who plays his wife. I kind of love their dynamic. Like it's really, really kind of fascinating. Um, kind of because you hear it. I mean, it's based on a it's a remake of another movie called The Axe.
Mhm.
It's about I didn't know when going in that he was actually playing like a paper worker, but I feel like it's really a paper factory worker or a line manager at a paper factory. I thought that was really interesting. Like the way that it talks about kind of dying industries and factories and how the paper is really an analog for like art and how art is changing with AI and all coming in and the
Mhm.
kind of fears that that is doing and kind of how you know you actually kind of as he's manipulate his plan to kind of kill his competition as he lost his job like you kind of I was surprised how much time we spent with each one of the people that was his competition, and how much you feel for them as much as you feel for him and what he's going through with his family. Like, I think it says a lot about our times today, and
Mhm.
again, it was easily I was blown away. I was just blown away.
Nice. I don't think anyone else has seen this one, but all I will say is like Park Chan Wook. I consider him the Hitchcock of this generation, so I'm very excited to see it. And I think it is obviously getting so much acclaim. And I'm shocked that it is now a bubble film for international film when a lot of people thought it could even get into the Oscar 10 for Best Picture. Just the fact that this is such a strong year for international, where there are 4 other international films that 3 of them legitimately have a shot at Best Picture is crazy. But also great for the medium and for the art form, and especially in the empire we're living in, as Chad said,
Yeah.
to have 4 movies, maybe 5, that can contend for Best Picture nominations and a few that can win big awards like director or screenplay. That's really big because we were told that Parasite winning was a disgrace to American filmmaking back in 2019 when it won. So or 2020 when it won, before the world turned to shit because of that person who said that. So yeah, very, very, very great pick. Even though I haven't seen it, I'm glad you just are representing international film, because I feel like for a year that is so internationally centric, where we might see literally 3 movies for Best Picture, which would be a record. That feels good that there's a representation of some international film on our list for sure. Even though I haven't seen it. Anyone, Matt? Yeah.
I haven't seen it either, but I do have some things to say about it because you mentioned Park Chan Wook, and that was the thing that I was going to kind of talk about. Is that if you watched my 5225 series or heard me talk about any of Park Chan Wook film, I'm not the biggest Park Chan Wook fan. I generally have a lot of issues with his films. Decision to Leave was actually the first one that I really liked of his movies. I just have I know a lot of people are like, what about Old Boy? I have so many problems with Old Boy. Uh,
That's fair. That's fair.
I love. I think The Handmaiden is a good movie that is hampered by the male, but by the fact that it's a lesbian story shown through the male gaze, and it
Mm.
feels so much like. Anyway, it's
Have you
just
seen
anyway.
Stoker? Have you seen Stoker?
I have not seen Stoker.
Check out Stoker. I
Uh,
really like.
I've seen several of his movies. There are plenty that I haven't seen, so I want to watch more of them because no matter even if I don't love all of his movies, I always enjoy his movies at least. So anyway, I am excited about this one. Number one, as you mentioned, guy from Squid Game, he's so good. Um, uh, Number two, um, I've seen it compared to Looney Tunes, and there are 2 things that I can remember in my mind being compared to the Looney Tunes before I watched them, and being some of my favorite things I've ever watched. One is Kill Bill, and 2 is Kung Fu Hustle, which is one of my favorite films ever made. Kung Fu Hustle.
I actually hadn't seen that comparison, but there are sequences where that absolutely makes sense.
Apparently,
Nice.
after I saw that, Park Chan-wook addressed it apparently, and is like, yeah, here's how Looney Tunes influenced some of the stuff.
Yeah, no.
So anyway, that excites me about this. So I'm excited to finally see it sometime.
Yeah, and honestly, the Hitchcock comparison works even with the whole male gaze thing too, Matt. If you think about it,
that's very true.
I didn't say that was necessarily the best thing that he is this generation. Saying Hitchcock, it is in some ways, not in others. Kerri, Chad, anything to say on No Other Choice?
It's one I've been really excited for, just because, not because of Park Chan-wook. I haven't dived that deep into his films, and I remember actually really not liking Decision to Leave that much. Personally, actually, I need to revisit that one. I need to watch a lot of his career, because I hear things from like Dylan like that, with the high praise, and other people, and I'm just like, wow, I just really need to dive deeper into his stuff and see like what I was missing with Decision to Leave, but also because I'm really excited for apparently what No Other Choice is about, but also like the poster of it, just with like the guy holding the thing. I'm just like, it's so intriguing of a poster. So I'm just like, I know. So I'm just like really excited for it. But I just haven't.
What once you see the movie, that tells you like everything you need to know about that character and what he's about, and his kind of moral quandary. Like,
it's a perfect poster. Then.
Yeah, I said that it is a great once you see the movie, that is actually it is the perfect poster.
And I'm really excited to see the guy from Squid Game, because he was incredible in that show. So
nice. Cool. Moving on. I know it's only round 2 and we're a whole hour in, so we gotta speed it up a little bit, but I love hearing everyone make their first round picks. Second pick, I was gonna like let the scenes chip away, but the more I'm looking at it, the more I'm like, you know what? Of all these scenes, this one is just so unique and so fun that I'm gonna pick it, because you picked like the best scene of the year, Matt, but I'm gonna pick the funniest one, which is the hot dog scene in the Naked Gun.
Oh, sorry. Good pick. That was going to be my moment of the year, Till. You're really good.
Thank you. I for some reason I'm looking at all these scenes, and there's some really good ones, and I have like about 20 Marty Supremes, but I already picked the movie, and then everything else on the list, I'm like, there's some good scenes, but there are other moments in those movies that could be the number one of their movies, but there are also like I have a scene from Superman that might, like, the other one might be more of a better scene than the one I picked, but like Naked Gun, like the hot dog scene, it's because it's the whole scene. Like, there are good gags in the movie, but this whole scene, it plays out for 5 minutes. If you haven't seen it, it's like he's like eating a hot dog in his car, and then he has to start like farting, and then he goes to use the bathroom, and it's locked, so he shoots his gun in the air, and like the whole thing is captured on a body cam. So it's like, it's so funny because you just see him like boom, just like shoot the air, and then everyone just scatters thinking there's actually a crisis, and it's really because he has to take a shit. And he gets back in the car and start pounding more hot dogs and having to go again. It's the most stupid, ridiculous humor, but this is my type of humor. And for a movie that I thought was really good, but everyone was like, this is the best comedy of the year, I think it's really good. But like at the end, for me, some of the jokes started to get a bit like too grating, where I was like, all right, I kind of am good now. But like this scene, it was the climax of the movie for me, and I really loved it. And now thinking back, I'm like, there's no scene that made me laugh more than this one. And usually I pick like a really dark or like emotional scene, so I'm like, I'm gonna switch it up this year and pick something that just made me laugh, like a laugh riot. So love the scene. JD, I know you want to talk about it. I'm so sorry.
I really want to talk about the scene before somebody else does, because like I'm wholeheartedly with you. That is the best. I did not laugh as hard in any other scene that this year is that hot dog scene. And also it was not just, it's because that was in the trailer, but the trailer doesn't show you kind of the setup of how it comes into the movie. It's actually an interrogation scene. So there's an interrogation inside. They pulled somebody off the street who may be related to the crime they're investigating, and then they pull up the body cam, and then you just go back back to the interrogation scene. And it was the moment where it was after he had the first incident, and then he goes to get another hot dog, and then it cuts back to the guy. He's like, no, ooh, like it hurt him so much that he went back for he went to go get another hot dog.
Yeah. So good. There's two really hilarious scenes centered around like edible food between buns. That I don't want to say sandwich because hot dogs are not sandwiches. I don't want to start that debate.
Yes, they
But
are.
okay, let's see. But like, there's another scene that I'm hoping Chad might pick. That is very similar, but we'll find out. Matt, what are your thoughts?
Hot dogs or sandwiches? No. If a sub sandwich is a sandwich, a hot dog is a sandwich. Anyway, I'm totally off base now. I did not mean to do that.
Sorry.
Anyway, okay. As you can see from my name on the thing, I was released in 1984. So these movies, the original Naked Gun movies, for a kid growing up like into comedy, were everything. I loved the Naked Gun movies. Loved them. I saw Naked Gun 33 1/3 more times than a person should ever watch that movie. And probably because during the summer, which is when I was at my dad's house, it was on HBO every 4 hours. And so like it would just constantly play over and over again. Anyway, I when I found out about this movie, and I'm feeling nobody's going to pick it, so I just want to talk about it right now for a second. When I heard about this movie, I was a little nervous because I love this stuff so much. But then I found out that Keith was directing it, and for the non-Lonely Island fans, that's Akiva Schaffer was going to be directing it. And I was like, okay, I can see this. The first trailer came out and it was perfect. I was like, okay, dude clearly understands the assignment. When I watched the movie, I felt a double down. Keith understands that franchise in a way as though he created it himself. That movie was a perfect sequel to the Naked Gun movies. There are so many scenes from that. I couldn't even narrow down the one that made me laugh the most, because that one did too. There's so much in there that made me laugh. I can see how you would say by the end maybe it gets a little bit tired, but that's how those movies work. When your movie is specifically supposed to be nonstop jokes, it's not just a comedy, it's a Zucker comedy. It's supposed to be nonstop jokes all the way to the end. And so when that happens, it's going to maybe get a little tired by the end, but they all feel that way. Even Airplane, by the end, you feel like, okay, I'm sure that there's some, anyway, not the point. I love that. That scene is great. I'm so happy it is represented. I'm so happy this movie is represented, because it's on my list, but it was never going to, it was not my top 5. But I'm so glad that that's recommended. When I found out that Liam Neeson was going to be the actor, or was going to be the thing, a lot of people were like, really? But no, because Leslie Nielsen was a classically trained dramatic actor. And the reason he is so great in those movies is because he doesn't stop being a dramatic actor just for the comedy. He's a dramatic actor through the comedy. And that's what makes it so funny. And that's why Liam Neeson is perfect. I'm sorry, I'm off my soapbox.
No, you're good. I love it. Kerri, any thoughts on the hot dog scene? Have you guys seen this one? Chad and Kerri? I know Chad, you have, but Kerri?
I've seen, I think, most of the movie. I don't think we actually finished it.
We finished it. Yep, we watched the whole thing together. We laughed a lot.
I have a bad memory then. But yeah, I do remember this scene, and it's hilarious. And I think just generally like the humor in this movie, like the entire movie kind of has that vibe that's in this scene, and it's so funny. And it's really cool to have like an awesome comedic scene like that represented on the list.
Do you remember seeing Weird Al in the movie?
Yeah,
I remember
that was a post-credit scene, so we watched the whole movie.
let me think.
He's also in the movie proper. He is in the movie proper.
All right, fair. But I will say, I love the movie. I love the scene. I did put it as like my number 10 of the year. I mean, that is before I saw like some other movies, but it still might be in there because I do think this was incredible. I don't actually love the original Naked Gun series, so to see this one, this is kind of like the Top Gun Maverick of Naked Guns for me, where I don't really like the original that much, but I really like the what do you call it, the Resurgence film. And I think, Liam Neeson is incredible in it. I also really love Pam Anderson in it. She like surprised the shit out of me. I did not think she would be that good and that funny in the movie. And them
And they
together,
fell in love in real life because of
Yeah.
it,
and that
which is amazing.
that movie is really incredible, and they're incredible in it. And there's so many great scenes. And you picked, Dylan, one of the scenes that made Kerri laugh the hardest. I remember this is that just like anything with like farting and stuff like that. She's laughing so much.
It just does it to you.
it's not,
Yeah.
not just even in general, just like really lowbrow humor, but just the way they do it in the scene, and how they the context of the scene, and how they're talking about how he's so dumb, and just he's making all these really bad choices, and threatening people with guns. And they're during the scene when he's making these bad choices, they're like, no, don't do it, don't eat it, don't eat it, don't eat it. And it's incredible. I don't have the movie written down. I do have another scene from the movie written down as one of my scenes potentially, but
Nice.
I don't know if I'm gonna pick it now, but we'll see. It
Save
depends.
honorable
I'm between a few, but yeah, this is a great pick.
Cool. All right, Matt, we're moving on to you now. What are you going to take for your second pick? You got your movie, your show, your most anticipated, and your MVP left.
I think I'm going to go with the MVP.
Cool.
Often, so often with this one, and really every year during like award season, I will hold on to a performance that I love so much that I want. I like will it into being the front runner or being the thing that I want to win. Last year that was Demi Moore, and unfortunately that didn't pan out. But really, I think I spread my love too thin because it was all of the substance, not just her. But a couple years ago, Joy Divine Randolph was my MVP because I love her so much in Holdovers. This year it's the same thing. My MVP is just from one movie. It is Amy Madigan from Weapons. Yep. Again, I'm going to reference that I was released in 1984. So growing up, she was the wife or girlfriend in a lot of movies that I watched and loved. Field of Dreams being one of them. Uncle Buck was one of my favorites because John Candy was my favorite actor when I was growing up. So seeing her in this movie and just delivering one of the best performances that I've ever seen. I don't know about that I've ever seen, but it is a performance that blew me away. I was so excited when I left, and this was similar to the Kiwi Kwan, who also was one of my picks back in the day.
Yeah, you have a tendency to pick the Oscar winner for supporting actor or actress. Yeah, that's a trend.
I do. Same with that. When I left it, I was like, if this doesn't win the Oscar, I'm gonna, like that's the kind of feeling I had when I left. I'm glad that she is at least in the running. She's still like, I feel like she's the front runner, but it is questionable right now. And so
I don't think it's questionable, but I don't know.
I don't think it's
maybe
questionable.
I'm too naive,
but I worry that it's my love that puts it over. So, so when it's like that, I think that it is. I think it's closer than I want it to be, but no, I think she's the front runner. And I'm very excited for her to get to give her speech, like I was excited for Demi Moore to give her speech last year. And I hope that doesn't it doesn't pan out the same way. But this year I'm going with Amy Madigan.
Yeah, iconic villain performance. And I will say, I say unquestionable. I think she's not like a 100% guaranteed winner, but I think now we're looking at like high 80s to low 80s, just because of that PGA Weapons nod. I'm like, so it is on radars. Like, it's not just her. Like, the movie is well beloved. So I think that bodes really well. If they get a screenplay nomination, I think it's done. It's locked up. But we'll see. We will see. If it's only her representing the film, then like we can talk. But I still, it's also because I don't really know what the alternate is, but that's for another day, another show, another podcast. Because there have been so many different contenders in that category, left and right. You know, it was Ariana Grande, then it was Tiana Taylor, then it was the Sentimental Value lady. So there's just so many different names. So
that's why I
great pick.
feel like that's why I feel like it's a it kind of feels like a home run for me. But again, I don't
World
want
of
my
Dreams?
love of that performance to yeah, exactly. Ride into the cornfield. But no, I don't want my love of that performance to kind of muddy the waters there, because I do feel like it's a home run. And the reason is because she's been neck and neck with so many people over the time, but those people have kind of drifted off and she has still stayed at the top. And so that's why I kind of feel like it's doing there. I like, because you guys are at the same house, that the sun has moved in a way where it was in Kerri's window and then it was in Chad's window. Chad
really
had to move so that he could. Anyway.
I also closed my
sorry.
blinds because it was like excessive.
Yeah. That was cool. Yeah, that's cinema, baby. Kerri and Chad, the horror show hosts, a horror performance as a frontrunner for supporting actor or actress. That's pretty cool. What do you think of Amy Madigan?
Well, I mean, I was gonna leave the lens flare as like a nice touch, and then I was like, no, I'm getting drowned out now. Yeah, Kerri and I actually we don't go all the time to the theaters together. We actually went to the theaters for this together, and I remember we were like really wowed by it. But like going from my like classical, like, you know, the Oscars don't give a shit about a horror mentality, there was no way I thought this was going to be anywhere near the Oscars. But I will say, I'm so happy that it is. Like, I don't know if, like, you know, Weapons is going to be nominated for Best Picture or anything like that, but you know, Amy Madigan, when I saw her in the movie, I was like, you know, this is something special. I didn't know if it was going to be like Best Supporting Actress special, but you know, now seeing that it has that you know, clout, like, you know, people are like really wanting this and people are like dying for it, like Matt. I really I'm on board. I'm totally fine if she wins that award. I love what everything Zach Kreger's been doing, and I just think I'm really excited to see what he continues to do. And you know, this does feel you know, I didn't even think about, like, maybe I did kind of like comparison like this and Demi Moore, and kind of like a legacy thing, like all culminating in this kind of performance and stuff. And now I see it. Now I'm really on board. So this is really good and scary. She was really scary in the movie.
Terrifying. Kerri?
Yeah, this is a fantastic pick, Matt. Amy Madigan is she is off the chain in this movie, and she's terrifying. And yeah, I'm so excited that she is, you know, winning awards now for this performance and is front runner for Best Supporting Actress. It's just so cool. Like the past few years, I think we have seen horror being represented more and more at the Oscars, especially with these, like, you know, performance awards like Demi Moore last year. So and everything. So yeah, I didn't even think of Amy Madigan as an MVP like on my list, but if I had thought of her, I totally would have put her on my list because yeah, this is just one of the best performances of the year, I think.
Yeah, I love the horror representation at the Oscars too. Like you've been saying, like the fact that this year there are legitimately 4 horror/monster movies that will win Oscars: Sinners,
Yeah.
Weapons, and then 2 others that haven't been mentioned. Is
Yeah.
really, really cool. Really, really
Yeah.
cool. That's a lot for horror. One's not horror, but it is an animated monster movie. So like, yeah, I think we're in good hands. JD.
Yeah. I'll keep it short and sweet. She wasn't on my list because I kind of for MVPs I kind of go more towards like utility players who, you know, standouts in multiple movies or TV shows. But that being said, singling out a performance is a valid thing. It's just that's just a personal preference thing. But she is amazing in the movie. That Weapons is it's on my top tier, but it's in like my top 20. of the year. I loved Weapons. I love Zach Kreger. Like, he's 2 for 2 in my mind. This was a great follow-up. Well, I may have something. We'll see.
More
I
for
almost-
later.
Yeah, I may have something for later. We'll talk. We'll talk. But yeah, it is a great performance. I'm glad that she is the front runner. It's deserved. Like everybody else said.
Cool. All right, Chad, you're up next. You've only gotten your MVPs. You still have your both movies, scene, and show left.
Right. I guess I'll see. I don't think anybody's gonna pick my scene though.
Welcome back to Draft Day, everyone, where Chad
Yeah.
always forgets he's next.
No,
I will say that Zach Krieger is 2 for 3 because Miss March was one of the worst movies ever made. But luckily he switched to
Oh.
horror.
Oh, I've never even heard of that.
I've never heard of it. So yeah, that's on me.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with series.
Okay.
There's a couple series I wrote down that I haven't finished that I really am excited to finish, but I just haven't gotten there. There's one that I really love, but I don't think it's like the same level as other things I've seen from the creator. And then there's one that I really love, but I'm gonna go with one that just kind of like made me want to crawl into a ball and made me want to Kerri knows go hug my son immediately after watching this. Adolescent.
Oh, that was
my
this year.
theory.
Wow. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was very early in the year. So I'm gonna pick that because I had like a deep well with my series, but I feel like this is the one that I really like wanted because it's so unique in the way that it's like 4 episodes, but they're long and they're like one shot sequences, and it's just I'm always kind of like it's like a guilty pleasure of mine that I just love watching stuff like that because of the craft of it, because like you're just like following the camera and it's just so neat. I don't know. I just love that kind of style. But it's just like that's only one of the many impressive things about this series. And just seeing, I could have picked this guy from MVP, but the young actor who it was like his first like role in anything.
Owen Cooper.
Thank you. Because in like this one scene that I probably could have picked for my scene actually was like the first time he had ever been like on camera, and it's like one of the best performances like of the year. Is just so incredible. But really I just love like how, because I thought this was gonna be, and I'm not really spoiling it. I'm not really gonna get deep into it, but I thought it was gonna be more of a who done it, but it was more of a why done it kind of thing. And after that first episode, I was like, there's no way that what they're saying happened. And then to see the next 3 episodes of not only did the thing they're saying happen, but why did it happen? I love how it goes into like today's like youth culture. And Dylan hasn't seen it. Okay.
Yeah, Chad, you're hardcore spoiling.
It's not a spoiler. That is not a
little
spoiler.
bit.
I will
guess,
say
yeah.
that is no,
That's
because
true.
it's clear. I don't agree with Chad. It's clear in the first episode that he did it.
Okay,
So
well,
like,
All right, I don't
The
know who
rest
he
is
is
why.
anyway. I don't know if you're talking about the kid or an adult. So I'm just gonna, I'll just listen and forget by the time I watch this. Probably 10 years
Okay.
from now when I finally have time to watch TV.
I'll be vague. I think you can like kind of interpret that first episode a little bit like differently, but the next 3 episodes made me realize that I should have been more on Matt's wavelength during the first episode when I watched it anyways. But when I had to shift my perspective of what I was watching, I really fell into it. Instead of like being like, this isn't what I thought it was at all, I was like, oh, this wasn't what I thought it was at all. And I was really like interested and excited. Not excited, but because it's very depressing. It's a very tragic series. But as a parent, and as someone who has the responsibility to make sure that my son comes up in a way that he has like a really good life, just start him on a good path. Seeing something go a different way is very heartbreaking. But it just like hits to where, like, just thinking about all of the possibilities and all of the woulda, coulda, shouldas thing that you could do as a parent. And just, now I'm at a very early stage. What happens when we get to this later teenage stage, and how am I going to relate to that? And just, I don't know, it just made me feel so much. So I was like in awe of the technical craft of it, but like just the story of it and the acting of it, and just like how this kid just makes you like want to believe him, but then also you know what I mean? Like it's kind of like he's got kind of got like a two-faced sentiment about him, and way about him. And I don't know, it just blew me away. And nothing has really topped it so far for me this year, even though there's so many great shows.
When before we got on camera, I told them, "Hey guys, I've only seen 3 series, so think not Matt centric when you when you choose your series." This was one of the 3, and no, I'm glad that's represented, because it was not, I think, the one that I was going to pick, but it could have been. I'm like you in that the fact that each episode is real time. It's 4 episodes real time over like 18 months. Like it's 1 hour out of those 18 months each episode. And so that right there is just, that's always going to grab me. I remember as soon as I was done, I went into the Discord and was like, listen, Stephen Graham better win awards for not only acting but writing, and I really hope that Owen Cooper gets some love too. And so it's so excited because he does. He's been winning all over the place. Both of them have been winning all over the place, and that makes me very, very excited. I'm like you in that as a parent, I was in awe and horrified by watching this from multiple angles. It's just a really good episode. You mentioned scenes. It's hard because it's all done in one shot, or each episode's all done in one shot to say scene. I will say that the 3rd episode could have, the whole episode could have been someone's best scene of the year. Because it's just incredible. And Owen Cooper, that's where he earned all those awards. That episode, he is so good in that episode. But yeah, I loved this, and love is hard to say because it was difficult. It's a difficult watch, but it's so good. And Dylan, even with hearing some of the things you've heard, you should watch it because, like I said, it's 4 hours of 18 months. So like you're really watching it for the experience and the understanding of the mindset. Not necessarily, he's right. It's not a whodunit, it's a whydunit. And so that's really the thing. So I definitely recommend it. It's only 4 hours long and it's incredible.
Cool. And as soon as Kerri and I finished, we were like both crying, and I had to go hug my son immediately. I was like really like, it gave me anxiety and also just like so much like despair, just thinking about like, someone's life basically being over, and like many different people's lives being over in a tragic situation. So
damn. Yeah. Kerri, any thoughts on adolescence that haven't been said? I don't know what was said while I was in the bathroom, but
yeah, I didn't say anything yet. This was a really fantastic series, and I think it highlights a lot of like really relevant issues, especially, I don't know, to kind of like internet culture and the culture and how we raise especially young men, I think. Also just, being a parent, there's even like being a cop or a psychologist. Like there are so many different elements to this series, and I think it was really well done. Like each episode being like structured as a one shot, just it really pulls you in, and you just don't get any breaks. You're just like so focused. And the acting's phenomenal. I think this was a great pick. It was really devastating. But I think it is also like a really important piece of media and an important piece of art that came out this year.
Cool. JD, have you seen Adolescence?
It's funny. No, I have not seen Adolescence. But
That is funny.
but it is. But it was unlike the rest of the TV that I watch it like years later. This was one where I was like, I'm not really in the mood to watch this right now because I feel like you have to be in the right mind. From everything that I had heard about it, I'm like, you have to be in the right mindset to watch it. I'd already known about that particular piece that Chad had mentioned. Like you have to be in the right mindset to watch it, and I was like, nah, I'm not there. So I'll get to it. I'm just
Cool.
I'm not there.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm excited to watch it as well. Maybe we'll do a watch party, JD. It sounds like a blast. Probably not.
Adolescence, a blast. Dill pickle.
A rousing good time.
A rousing good time.
All right, Kerri, take us home. Not take us home. We're in the second round, but for the second round, take us to the third. What is going to be your final pick in the second round? Your second pick overall.
Yes. My final pick in the second round. My second pick. Okay. I think I'm going to go with my 2025 MVP. Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. I have a few people on this list. But I'm going to go with Rhea Seehorn, who
Yes.
her big thing that she did this year was the TV series Pluribus, which is Vince Gilligan's newest series. There are 9 episodes. There are maybe 1 or 2 episodes where she is not as prevalent in it, but she carries this entire show, basically. There are some other characters that we see a little bit, but as an actress, she basically holds together this entire TV show. She is 100% the lead actor. She often is like acting only against herself or against phone calls or televisions. And I think she is just rocking it, doing a phenomenal job. For her to come and basically hold up as an actress from the acting perspective this entire series, I think is just phenomenal. She's obviously been talked about for a while because she was one of the lead actors in Better Call Saul, and she did amazing in that as well. But I think just for her to just totally dominate this series, and the acting that she does in it is so phenomenal. She's kind of almost this like Karen type character a bit, but you really feel for her, and she's also in this completely and totally insane situation and is trying to navigate it as a human being, a realistic human being, who is also grieving at the same time that her whole world has just completely ended. It's like basically a post-apocalyptic world. I just think she has just been doing such fantastic work. So yeah, that's my pick.
I had no idea this even existed, so I'm really excited for this.
Oh, snap.
Shows I was on a boat for so long, TV was not as common, but I did not know this was a thing. But I really, really, really am excited to see this. She was also a voice on the new Pixar series Win or Lose, Pixar's first original series, so that's also another notch in her belt for 2025. Very cool. Chad, have you seen this one too?
It looks like my lens flare is getting worse again.
Yes, hello, Mr.
J.J. Abrams is directing your feed.
I have seen this. Kerri and I watched this together. Of course, I'm a Vince Gilligan head. I love Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul.
I was gonna say, yeah, there you go. A little bit
Oh
better.
my god, it's
I'll fix it after this.
John,
it's
you
hard to
should mention-
fix.
We'll fix it in post.
I
no,
don't
we
mind
can't
it.
do that.
As long as people
Um,
don't look right into
I
it,
think
it's
it's
fine.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I?
You about to dance in the gym?
There we go.
Oh, no.
Ariana DeBose? Oh, there you go.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, whiteboard. Yeah, this show is great. I don't. It's like a little weird because Kerri didn't like pick it for her show, but talked about the whole show. But picked it for the MVP, which is totally allowed. It's just one of those things where I'm just like a little weirded out. But I guess no one's gonna, because I've already picked. I don't think she's gonna pick it for her show and her MVP.
No.
So I don't know if anyone else is actually gonna pick it, but. I will just say, since we've already talked about the show, I think the show is really good. It's just one season so far, so it's like it's nowhere near the same level as Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul for me right now. But there are people who are like championing it as like one of the best things like ever, and I do think it has the potential to get better and better as we go. It's one of those where it like has like a concept and then you're wondering how they're going to expand it into multiple seasons, but seeing how season 1 ends is really showing how Vince Gilligan's like, I can actually expand this into another big thing, and I'm really excited to see the future of the show. I think her name's actually pronounced Ray Seahorn.
Oh no, I'm so sorry.
I've always
What
said
did you say?
Rhea Seahorn for a long time, and then I've heard it on like talk shows. They're like Ray Seahorn. So, anyways, but yeah, she's incredible. She's like one of those actresses that always nominated for an Emmy for Better Call Saul, never winning, and then I'm just like, what is wrong with you? Like, this gave me so much rage. I'm sure Dylan remembers, and other people
we all do.
remember having so much rage over this that she's like giving like one of the greatest performances in like television history as Kim Wexler and just never winning. And it's just like, you guys are high. Anyways, I'm so glad that Vince Gilligan is sticking with her and giving her own show now, and I just think it's so incredible, and I'm really excited to see where it goes because she's so good in it. I love to see her rage in the show because she's always so mad in the show a lot of the time. So
Nice.
a good pick.
Matt or GD, have you seen this one?
I haven't watched it, but I'm always down for Ray Seahorn love. So
Yeah,
Cool.
same.
Nice.
It's one of the first ones I want to watch after we get through award season.
Cool.
yeah, Apple TV is just killing it. They're what AMC was in the 2000s. Like
Yeah.
Absolutely.
everything they're putting out is just great.
Nice. Well, another piece of gold I'll have to check out. But Kerri, hit us with some more gold. Your first pick in round 3. What's it going to be?
All right, my first pick in round 3. I think I'm gonna go with my series. I'm strongly between two. I'm gonna go with the one that's more horror, though. I'm gonna go with Alien Earth.
Yes.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, this is like an Alien series, like Alien the movie and Aliens with Sigourney Weaver. And it is just such a cool series. Like the special effects that are done, kind of the mystery that's, and the plot is just fantastic. Like there's a lot of young actors in this who are just absolutely killing it. Sydney Chandler is the lead, Kyle Chandler's daughter, and she just really knocks it out of the park, I think. Timothy Oliphant is in this as well. His character is fantastic. And like, just, I don't know, like the special effects are just phenomenal. It's really cool to see. I think this was a great year for television horror. I think we got a couple of really fantastic series. This was the one that we actually watched and finished, though. And I just enjoyed every second of it. It just fantastic tension and world building.
Nice.
Yeah, Alien Earth is actually really incredible. I knew people like were talking about it before I jumped into it, and it had been like a few episodes in. I think like we started it like when it was technically about to just be all aired, and and I didn't realize because I knew we had been talking about doing an alien show. Oh my god, I'm blanking on his name. The guy who did Fargo.
Noah
Noah
Hawley.
Thank you, Noah Hawley. I knew he had been talking about doing an alien show for a while, and then people were talking about Alien Earth, and they were like, just in love with it, and like, this is so good. And then I'm like, really, is it that good? And then like going in, I just did not connect the dots. And then I was like, why didn't anybody tell me this was a Noah Hawley show? And the people were like, you should have just known. So I finally got around to seeing it, and Kerri and I watched it, and we just like really were in love with it. Just like all the choices that were made, all the like the new little characters and creatures that they introduce is really cool. And it's like something that you actually don't really see in the movies a lot. The movies, they're trying to focus on the xenomorphs, and really in this, they're like kind of more focused on, I can't really say AI, but like, the with the cyborg people, and also like focused on, the creatures, the new kinds of creatures that come in and are being studied. There are xenomorphs in it, and it is a very tense, scary show, but like the acting is just incredible. Timothy Oliphant is really, really great in it, and Sydney Chandler is so good. And I'm just really excited for the future of the show, because the season 1 ends on a really interesting note, and I'm really there's kind of a I'll tell Dylan, you haven't seen Alien Earth, right?
Mm-mm.
There's a bit of a Captain Phillips moment in the season 1 that I was like, oh shit.
Cool.
And so I'm really excited because
So
of where
the xenomorph is like, I am the captain now. He speaks. Is
Yeah,
that
totally.
cool?
maybe
Nice.
one of the characters, but I don't know if I've seen it.
All right. I haven't seen this one. I actually haven't heard much about it. I mean, I knew what it was and that it was coming out. I like the oxymoron of the title Alien Earth. I also I'm intrigued by more alien stuff. I hope Ridley gets to make his 3rd movie in his trilogy. That's really all I have to say. I'm really excited to check it out. Matty Fresh, any thoughts on Alien Earth? Have you seen this one?
The teenage xenomorph who sounds like a 76-year-old woman. Oh wait, no, that's a different thing. No. I haven't seen it. You just mentioned Sigourney Weaver. Alien is one of my favorite movies of all time, the first Alien movie. So I need to watch this, and I like Noah Hawley's other shows. So I need to watch it. I just haven't. It's not one of the 3 that I watched this year.
I'll take 90 minutes before we get an Avatar dig. I'll take it. I enjoyed the 90 minutes while it lasted, and I'm sure it will not be the last, judging by what else is to come in this draft. Maybe. I don't know. I love you, Matt. JD.
I have watched one episode. I watched the first episode of Alien Earth.
Did you like
It
it?
kind of was like how you guys were describing Andor. It wasn't grabbing me, and then I read everybody's like, "Oh, it's so great! It's so great!" I'm like, when did it pick up? And everybody's like, right after you kind of
Right after you stopped.
watching. So right away, I'm taking how you described Andor is literally my experience with Alien Earth. So I need to get back to it.
Cool.
But I love Noah Hawley. So I'm sure I'll get into it.
Very cool. Alien Earth getting picked, representing very horror sci-fi skewed draft so far, Kerri. I love it. All right, Chad. You picked your series, you picked your MVP. Now you're just picking movies and scenes. Should be easy, right? Just kidding, it's hard.
Yeah.
Chad, what are you gonna go with?
I still think I'm gonna wait on scene. Maybe see if like someone else picks my other scenes. I mean, there's so many scenes. I don't know if anything will get picked, but I think sometimes I like to go with like movie, like right in the middle. So I'm gonna go. This is my 3rd pick, right? So I'm gonna go with movie, like right in the middle.
Cool.
I was thinking about between some of these, like I was like, my number 1, I was like, I'm fine with maybe someone getting that, because I have a lot of other ones that I might want to like shout out, but I could do that during honorable mentions and stuff. So I'll just pick my number 1 movie, and I'll pick One Battle After Another.
Damn it.
Sorry, Matt. This movie I had heard, I mean, I saw it like right when it came out, but I had heard before it came out like so much praise and especially like Letterboxd reviews and stuff. People are like, best of the decade kind of a deal. And so I was really hyped on it, and I think it lived up to that hype. I really like PTA as a director, but also because of his relationship with Radiohead and Johnny Greenwood. I think that's such like a great partnership that like he's like, hey, you score all my movies now and do an incredible job and never get recognition for it. This is the deal that we have. But maybe this year we'll see. I don't know. It's one of those things where Kerri's movie and my movie are kind of always going head to head and stuff, and they're just so great. As I was saying, like in a chat before, it's like it feels kind of like the 1950 year where you had like All About Eve and Sunset Boulevard going to head to head, and you're like, these are two of the best movies like ever, and only one can win. And but despite that, I do think One Battle After Another is one of the best movies of the year, if not the best movie of the year. And just it's really got everything. It's hilarious. It's got a lot of heart to it. It has a lot of things in it that really speak to 2025 and everyone's kind of sense of rebellion, like those who aren't stormtroopers, are like, have that sense of rebellion. And I think this, makes you want to not go full French 77 because that's not good to do. Terrorism is not good to do. But I will say the vibe of wanting to make a difference is what this movie speaks to, and it really talks about like the immigrant experience, the person of color experience, and against the backdrop of so many people wanting to ethno states and all that kind of stuff with what we get with the Christmas Adventurers Club and how ridiculous that goes. And I think that also plays into the comedy of it. I love Leo's arc in the movie. One of my favorite performances of the year is Chase Infinity. For me, she's the main character of the movie, and I love to see her trajectory from a baby to following in her parents' shoes, but doing it maybe the right way. It's kind of like open-ended, and I'm excited that that we get to yeah. And I love so many of the great needle drops in the movie. I love so many of the great like shots and sequences, like the car sequence. People bring up. It's just they apparently Giovanna Ribisi did the cinematography for it, and like they broke one of the cameras that that he made for it or something, like the VistaVision stuff. And I think that's what Leo said in the Actors on Actors thing that I was watching. But yeah, and you got Sean Penn's like one of the great like villains that like I don't know if he's not like sympathetic, but it's like one of those to where you're just like,
I thought you were about to be like, I don't know if he's a real villain. I was like,
no, he's definitely a real villain. But I'm saying like,
yeah, I know.
I'm trying to figure out how to like he is just a real complex kind of character, and I just really love his performance in the movie is what I'm trying to say. But it is like one of those where he is a villain, but it's like you also have like other villains that he's going against a little bit, and it's just kind of an interesting dynamic is what I'm trying to say. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm talking so much, but it is like, a movie that I love that I'm still always thinking about. And I don't know, just all the sequences of Leo, yelling at that one guy on the phone is just like really, really incredible. It's iconic, like costumery, like his, bathrobe and everything. I wore that as a costume for Halloween to a Halloween party, which is really funny and fun. Yeah, I'll stop talking because I think people want me to. So
no, I love it. I could hear you talk hours about this because it is a movie that requires hours of discussion just because it is so good. But also, like,
yeah.
I can't believe it fell to the third round. To be honest, like this is the movie that everyone has kind of collectively been like number one movie of the year. That's why I think it's fun when other people have
Yeah.
other number one movies, like No Other Choice, Sinners, Marty Supreme. Just because it is kind of the consensus pick, but it is crazy, like you said, on a year like 1950, where it's like you have so many of these movies that I think we're genuinely going to look back on as some of the greats, and not just Sinners in one battle, but like in other genres, in like superhero movies and other genres. I think there's just so many great, like just best of the decade type movies. And just big hits as well, like even Weapons, like Matt was saying with Amy Madigan, like maybe a smaller film in scope compared to these other ones, but still like very influential, whether you love it or hate it. So yeah, I think this is great. We'll talk more on Picture This, so I'll save a lot of my thoughts for that, but I agree with everything you said. It's great. It was in my top 5, so I'm glad it's represented. Matt?
My number one movie of the year is boring like Chad's, and that is this one.
Not boring.
And
It's a great pick.
I know you were talking about how like it's great when they're interesting other picks. I was like, well, mine was the standard, I guess.
Sometimes the general consensus is consensus for a reason, you know.
Yeah. This is my favorite movie of the year. This was what I was going to pick. I just needed to get the other ones out of the way, or I would have done it earlier. Yeah, it's a great movie. I will say that I'll be a little bit controversial in that I don't know that all terrorism is bad. How to Blow Up a Pipeline, and go watch that movie. If you've never seen it, it's incredible. Not all terrorism is bad. But I think the word you were looking for, and maybe you weren't, but for Sean Penn is because he's not likable. I mean, and he's definitely a villain. His whole thing is he's trying to get into a white supremacy group. But he is endearing, at least. Like you kind of like, there is something about him that is interesting to watch, and as a character you can understand him a little bit.
Yeah, it's the Hans Landa.
He is my favorite.
The Hans Landa.
Yeah, it's the Hans Landa thing. Like, yes, exactly.
Control Man.
Yes.
Yeah,
exactly. Sean Penn's character is actually his performance is actually my favorite in the movie. I'm actually surprised that Benicio del Toro is the front runner from those two in most of these races, because I was like, I came out and went, okay, well there's our supporting actor. But I also really love Benicio del Toro in that movie. So I'm not upset by it. I'm just like, wow, that I'm a little surprised. But yeah, I love this movie. You talk about Johnny Greenwood with PTA. It's the same thing that I was saying with Ludwig Göransson with Ryan Coogler. There's a marriage between these two, the director and composer, that is just so good, that they understand each other so well that they create just kind of this perfect thing. Cinematography also, those scenes on the road, when it goes to like the first person, I guess, first car, first automobile perspective, in the theater especially, were so anxiety inducing, like so hard to watch, but great. Yeah, it's just a movie that I loved from start to finish. I will say that if it has any knock, it's that the first 20 minutes is not as interesting as the rest of the movie. But you got to get those first 20 minutes. There's so much story that has to happen during that. My point is, people are complaining about how long it is. Add 20 minutes to that movie. Make that beginning space that beginning part a little bit more. And I would have been great.
give us more Tiana Taylor. Yes.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. It's just that they had to truncate that so much that, like, if you had spread that out another 20 minutes, like, that movie would have been like perfect for me. But yeah, I love that movie. The performances are all great. Chase Infinity, you're right, is so good in that movie. And it was my number one of the year. So I'm glad that it is being represented, even if I don't get to take it.
Nice.
Ocean Waves, Matt. Ocean Waves.
JD, any thoughts?
Yeah. I respect this movie a lot. It is in my top 20. It's not in my top 1. It's not my top 5. It's not in my top 10, but it is in my top 20. I think there's, to Matt's point, I think there is I feel like the structure needed more tweaking. Like it needed, I think that front needed to be a bit longer, so you really felt her disappearance when she disappeared at the end. After that, and you don't really see her for the rest of the movie, Taiwan Terror. And then I also think you could have then cut down a few things in the back half, so you could have made that longer. You could have kept the running time. I don't think it moves, so I'm not complaining about the running time, but that's kind of my issue with it. The other thing I just wanted to touch on before we can move on is that I find the reason I think that people are talking about Benicio del Toro more than they're talking about Sean Penn, even though I agree Sean Penn is the better performance of the two, is kind of a similar thing that happened with 12 Years a Slave with Michael Fassbender. It hits too close to home. So I see a lot of the time, like, there are these great performances, but it's like, to admit that is something that still exists, or something that exists in our world. It's just they don't want to reward that for whatever the reason. I don't know why it is. As I said, it's a performance, and the performance is the performance. But again, I've noticed that over the years, is that when something hits too close to home, they don't want to reward it for whatever the reason.
And it's not
I
even
think-
comedic in the way like Hans Landa is in Inglourious
Yes.
Bastards, where like
Correct.
that you laugh at him too. Like you're not really laughing at Sean Penn. You think he's pathetic at times, and you
I
laugh at
disagree.
him.
I think he's hilarious.
Yeah, but he's
There's
not like
certain-
he's not putting on a
there's certain
comedic
moments.
performance like Christoph Waltz is, where he's presentational. He's like
No.
almost going for the bit at times. Like it's not.
Yeah, Sean Penn is playing.
Dry
Oh, I
Yeah.
saw that very differently. Yeah, I
Sean
see
Penn-
that as a complete comedic performance, and that's why I love it. Maybe that's the difference when we were talking about, like, is this a comedy? I see his performance completely as a comedic performance.
Yeah,
like the moment when he comes behind Leo at the checkout, and he's like, "You like black girls? I love them." And then Leo's face is like, "What the fuck is going on right now?"
But-
That is such a funny moment.
But I think this is where the disconnect is. That, like, you see that as comedic, and I'm like, that's a real person. That
Yeah,
person exists in the real world, and that is how Sean Penn is playing it. He is playing it. It's one of these, it's one of these proud. He's playing like it's one of these proud boys that's been elevated to military status. That's who he's playing.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree. He's very close to home.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, Hans Landa was a real, especially in that first scene, which is the greatest opening scene of all time. Hans Landa is playing his performance is so good, but he's playing a very realistic Nazi.
Yeah.
And
I don't
so
compare
think
him
that-
necessarily one for one, but yeah.
Yes.
I also think that Benicio's character is someone that people kind of like identify with as being like this. I've been through shit, and this shit's not changing anytime soon. So
Yeah.
ocean waves, kind of a
Yeah,
deal. And
I have no problem. Just for the record, I have no problem with Benicio del Toro being the front runner. I think he's great. I was just
Yeah.
surprised because
No,
I really like Sean Penn's.
And I didn't take it that way, Matt. Just so we're clear, again, I was just saying, why do I think Benicio is getting more of the love? I think that's why he's getting more of the love.
Also, Sean Penn doesn't campaign. That's the Francis
That's
McDormand
true.
thing.
That
So,
too.
like,
Mm.
That
he's
too.
just not campaigning.
he's
Benicio's
been there,
everywhere.
done that. Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good nuanced conversation to have for sure. And again, like I love that we all have different takes on this movie, and I think it just goes to show how good the movie is. Is that like, Matt finds it laugh out loud hilarious. I think it's a little bit more dramatic. JD thinks it's a little darkly comedic, and then Chad's kind of somewhere in the middle as well. So I think it's good. I think that's a really testament to a great movie in and of itself. And I personally agree. I think Sean Penn should be the one walking away with it, like Heath Ledger, Javier Bardem, and
Yes.
Christoph Waltz did, despite being these really menacing people. I think there is that layer of like entertainment value that comes with something that's so like realistic, but also heightened. It's almost caricature-y, but not like it kind of teeters that line. Yeah.
I mean, it does. The movie does have that balance where like you're laughing like throughout,
Mhm.
but then at the end you're crying. Like when she's reading that letter, like that. Oh man, I can't with that. So
Meanwhile, I'm sitting here like Paul Mescal for Hamnet, but no,
He's
everyone
so
wants these
good in
one battle
Hamnet.
boys.
Oh my
Everyone
god.
wants these one battle boys. No, I love all the performances this year, and I'm very excited to see what happens. Kerri,
I think
thoughts
the
on?
problem with that, sorry, just real quick. I think the problem with that performance is, even though he's so good, the disparity between him and the lead in that movie is huge.
I
She's
disagree.
she's a generational performance in that, and I think he's great. I just
We
think
might
that
get
when
there
you're
later.
next to a generational performance,
Yeah,
See,
Chad, we
like,
might get
it's
there
hard.
later.
yeah, we'll talk about it later. But I
Okay.
have thoughts on that
Oh,
too.
okay.
I just think
Yeah.
it's funny that we've like done this whole conversation and Kerri hasn't talked yet.
I know. Yeah, and I want to give it to
Sorry,
Kerri. Kerri,
Kerri.
talk about this
No,
movie.
that's
Kerri, talk about-
okay. Yeah,
Mid.
I love this movie. I don't think it's not my number one, obviously. But I can see why, like Chad and Matt, that it is your number one. I do think it is just like, I think, a great balance of comedy and action and drama. There's so many laugh out loud moments, so many gasp out loud moments, so many like yell out loud moments, or like cheering, especially, towards the end. And there were at least like 2 scenes from this movie that are on my list of, scenes that I'm trying to choose between, like, favorite scenes of the year or best scenes of the year. So, yeah, overall, just, yeah, really, really fantastic movie and great pick, Chad.
Yeah. I mean, it is one of the biggest movies of the year, the biggest movies of the decade, century. So, like, if we have more discussion to be had, like, let's do it. Because, like, I think this movie deserves its spotlight. Does anyone else have anything else to add? Regina Hall's great. Leo's great. Chase
Yes.
Kennedy.
Everybody's so good in this
Yes.
movie.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say this is probably one of the best cast movies. That and Sinners. I feel like there's a reason it's between it and Sinners, is because like it's just across the board. It's
Mhm.
like
Uh,
it's like
Yeah.
Matt.
Well, sorry. Yeah, you're right. Famously, the one of the biggest robberies in Oscar history for me is that No Country for Old Men beat There Will Be Blood. I am a huge Paul Thomas Anderson fan. The only movie I don't like is his last one before this.
Mhm.
And I think on rewatch I might like it more. But I think that this one, because before this movie came out, the buzz was that this was like, he's made the best movie of the century or whatever. I don't think that's true. I think that he made that already, and
Yeah.
By the way,
and
Matt,
it was the one that I just mentioned. But I do think that it deserves that kind of hype. Like, the hype is real on
Yes.
on this movie. It's so good. But yeah, that's right.
I agree with you. I think he's done better, but I do think that like this is his time. Not that it is
Mhm.
that and again, he's really PTA is really hit or miss for me, but when he hits, he really hits. Like it's like I don't when he's hitting on all cylinders, like with There Will Be Blood. I love Phantom Thread too.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
when his ideas are firing on all cylinders. There's nothing more engrossing to watch than his movies.
Dylan, we have to go and try to track to see if this is the longest a pick has ever been talked about.
It is not, but I do think it's the longest on this draft for sure. And I know we have to wrap it up because we are officially the halfway point. So, and it's only been 2 hours. So I don't want this to go 4 hours. So we will try to speed it up a little bit. But this round, I know this movie was going to come up eventually, and we'd probably have to talk about it a lot. And we probably will talk about it a little bit more, maybe with some scenes or performances, maybe. But at the end, honorable mentions, I definitely have a few. All right, Matt, what is going to be your next pick in the draft? You still have to pick your movie, your anticipated movie, and your series.
All right. So my film was taken, and it seems like I'm the only one left on that, right? On film?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm gonna save that because I'm not sure if I'm gonna take the one that's there because it has been represented by me already. So I'm going to think on that one for a little bit. I'm gonna go with series, even though I don't think it's in jeopardy. Because I think, and this may speed up things, is that I think I'm the only one here that's watched it. But I'm gonna go with my favorite series of 2025, which is The Pit. I have watched this twice now. This one is similar. The thing that's funny is that my two favorite series of this year are shows that take place in real time, because The Pit also takes it is a 15-hour shift in an ER.
Oh,
is
cool.
is the show. So every episode is 1 hour of the shift in the ER. Growing up, when ER first started, the show ER, my mom watched it, and so I used to watch that with her, and I would watch it all the time. And then I fell off, which was fine, but I never really went back to it. And then The Pit came out, and Noah Wyle, who is the star of The Pit, was one of the main characters on ER. In fact, on the first episode of ER, it was his first day working in the ER. He was the intern working in the ER, and this is him being chief of the ER.
Oh, that's cool.
Teaching a bunch of interns. So like, it was nice. This nice full circle moment. So after watching The Pit, I went and started ER again, 15 seasons of ER. And I watched all of that in 2025. The full 15 seasons of ER. And then as soon as I was done with that, I rewatched The Pit. And now I'm a doctor.
No, now you gotta watch Grey's Anatomy, Matt. Now we gotta get you into Grey's. You and I
watched
come
the
to me
first
and Kelsey,
like 3 or 4 seasons of that. I think I'm good. But
season 8 is so good. Okay,
I don't. That may mean something to me if I ever go back and watch it. I just haven't. But anyway, I love this show. It feels so. It's funny because in ER, those first several seasons, the big bad, like the big villain of that series was AIDS, because it was the early 90s. So like HIV, AIDS, that was like the big thing, like the thing that everybody was worried about. And that was very true. In The Pit, the big bad, the thing that everybody's worried about is fentanyl. Because that is the big scary thing right now. And so there's a lot of talk about that, but there's so much in this series that even if you're not into medical shows, the characters are really good. Plus you get to kind of see how people react to, like, you get these great story arcs with these patients that you see maybe once or twice an episode, and then eventually they get moved out of the ER to their own bed, and then they're not there anymore. One of my recent favorite actresses is what's her name? Is it Sloane? What's her name from all of the from all of the Flanagan stuff? Do you remember?
Sloyan.
Something like that. Anyway, she she is
she's in it.
She's in it, but she's one of the patient's parents, so she's not in it very much, but her scenes are so heart-wrenching. Like, they are so good. Like, she's very, very good in it. But you get these little things where, like, these characters will come in for a few minutes each episode because they're just kind of going and checking on these things. It's a really great show. I watched it twice through this year and loved it the whole time, both times. It's probably one of the best medical things that I've ever seen. And I watch a lot of medical things. I watch House. I watch a lot of medical stuff. And it's probably one of my favorites just because of the pacing and the characters. And Noah Wyle is back, and I'm happy about that.
Yeah,
so
Samantha
that's where I will leave it.
Sloyan, I don't know how to
Samantha
pronounce it, but she's
Sloyan,
also a main character on Grey's, so watch Grey's. It's great.
Okay.
Yeah, in some of the later seasons. Yes, I'm telling you, Chad, Matt, you got to come to Kelsey and I's side of the medical ward. I'm kidding. No, I'm really excited because I love Grey's, so I love medical shows, or I love that one. So I will be checking this out. I didn't know it was a medical show. I knew nothing about it because it had been popping up on all these lists. I just didn't have the time to check it out. And I was like, this sounds good. I don't know what it is, but it's everywhere. The Pit, and it's a guy from ER. I should have clocked that it was going to be a medical show, but I figured because of ER, that was too easy. But yeah, I didn't know anything about it. I thought it was either about a peach or about the guy in F1. And it's about neither of those.
It's called The Pit because it's in Pittsburgh, but that's what they call this because it's like it's like government, like a county hospital, so
Mhm.
it's underfunded and
Mhm.
one of the most busy, which is same
It's like
thing with
yeah,
ER. That's the
yeah.
same process. That's the same thing with ER. It was also a county hospital that was underfunded. But that's
Mm,
just where that is. But yeah, and it's been greenlit for season 2,
cool.
probably because it's won so many awards. But
You mean
Yeah.
yeah,
you
I
mean
think
season 3, right?
news already started.
Season 3, yeah. Season 2 is already airing now. Yeah.
Yeah,
no, it's not.
Yes,
it
it is.
just
Oh,
started like the other
I
day.
think like last week it already started. So this is airing on the
I am
12th of January. So yeah,
Matt's about to
season
get
2.
excited.
I
Matt's
am
got a
about
fun night
to.
tonight. Yeah, episode
Yeah.
1 premiered as of recording yesterday. So
Yeah.
episode 2 is coming out
Oh,
this week.
okay. Then
So
yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
yes.
I didn't
Premiering
realize
now.
it had started yet. It's been
Yeah,
busy.
yeah,
Um,
But
yeah.
I
I knew
had
it was
heard
starting this year.
nothing but great things about this show, and
Mm-hmm.
at one point I almost started it, and then I was like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know, like if I'm gonna be able to like handle it. Like sometimes with medical stuff, I might need body stuff. I might, be a little squeamish and stuff like that. So I've been a little bit iffy on starting it, but I do love medical stuff. I'm a huge House fan, a huge Scrubs fan. And so I love medical oriented stuff when I can get into it. I haven't watched Grey's Anatomy. I haven't watched ER. Kerri apparently has watched ER. So maybe one day I'll jump into those as well. But because of all the hype of the pit, I really do want to start it. And Matt was selling it really hard. He mentioned Samantha Sloyan in it. She's incredible. She's so good in like Midnight Mass and stuff like that. So I adore her. So I'm actually really really excited to see her in it and see the show. I think Kerri and I will probably enjoy it. We might have to skip over some stuff if we get too squeamish, but we'll see. Because apparently it's very realistic. So
I would say
It
you all
is,
have done
but
such
I would not say you see like I would not. It's not like ER, which had a surgery element to it,
okay.
where you would often see people's chests open. It just takes place in the ER,
Mm.
and so there is some stuff that is hard to handle, but I would say it's more emotional.
Oh,
Mm.
okay.
I was about to
Maybe.
say you all have done such a good job selling these shows. Like I'm excited to watch Andor. I'm excited to watch Adolescence, The Pit, Alien Earth. I have not seen any of them, and I'm really excited about them all because you all have done a really good job. So commending you all for that. JD, any thoughts on this? Have you seen The Pit?
So I'm kind of like Chad. I can't really do medical shows, but
Gotcha.
maybe if there's
Maybe this
not,
will be the one.
maybe this will be the one.
Nice. And I know Kerri DM'd us that she has not seen this, so she is okay if we proceed. Which is my pick, which I actually I pulled a chat. I forgot I was next, so I don't have anything queued up. I'm gonna go for the ballsy pick that if it gets vetoed, I'll pick something else. It's kind of me changing my own rules, but I feel like this category was always MVP performer. So I'm gonna pick an MVP, and if you guys are like, no, it has to be an actor, then I'll find an actor. I have an actor, but I'm gonna say Steven Soderbergh is the MVP of 2025, and you all can decide to veto me, or if you think
I
in the spirit of this draft, if you want to keep it performance only, I will respect that. But
I I wrote Steven Soderbergh down on my list, so
okay,
no, I won't be.
okay, Matt, would you veto Steven Soderbergh?
No, you know me. I'm all
Okay.
for
Well, because
interpretation of
I
rules.
in the past years, I definitely said MVP performer, but then even last year, I was like, well, technically, Suri on the Traitors and on Survivor, or Parvati on Traitors and Survivor could be an MVP, even though she wasn't an actress. She still performed in some way. And I'm like, directors still perform. They perform their
On the
craft and
job.
their jobs. JD, do you have any pushback on Steven Soderbergh being the pick here?
No, not today. I'm
I think
gonna
you're
give
all
it.
also like, well, you can have it because it doesn't sound like it's a very enthusiastic reception of this pick. But
Mm.
I really do think
No,
there are two.
I like one of the two movies. I have not seen the other one.
Gotcha. There are two directors that released multiple films that I had on my list. The other, I haven't seen either of those films yet, even though they're both Golden Globe nominated, so I will. Yeah, Steven Soderbergh delivered two films, and I think what's so impressive is that the two films he made, Black Bag and Presence, were both in the matter of like a month they were released. I know Presents
Yeah.
had a festival run the year before, but like Presents was released in like the first month. I think it was January, and then Black Bag was like March, maybe February, March. So I just think the turnover rate of his movies, and there's a reason for that, is because he uses very low budget equipment. He uses very single locations. I mean, Black Bag is one of the more spawning films, long spanning films of his. Sprawling, that's the word I was looking for. Thank you, Matt. One of the more sprawling films of his career. Like it takes up the most space, whereas Presence is literally in one house. Fun fact: they almost filmed in my house. I was one of the houses they scouted. They obviously went with another one. Yep. I talked about this on my most.
Were they worried that people would think that it was the house from Garden State?
No, that was my old house that I used to live in. So it would have been a different house altogether.
So you would have had two houses.
I would have been collecting them like Infinity Stones, baby. But Infinity Stone, nominated for Best Actress this year. Chase Infinity, Emma Stone. Just love that joke. But yeah, Presents, almost filmed in my house. It was actually filmed in a house around the corner in my town. They were scouting my town. They just like the real estate here, I guess. And I'm glad for it because I don't want that to be associated with the Ghost movie. Even though it is a really cool story, it's told from a first-person POV of the ghost. And I think it's a much more beautiful, haunting drama than it is a horror film, in the same way like a ghost story is. So I really like that it kind of subverted my expectation there. Even though it is scary, there are some actually viscerally scary moments. I think the use of sound, of cinematography, of actors in the space, perspective, direction is so smart. One of the most genius horror films of the year, and I feel like it's getting severely overlooked because it's not one of your big studio, big actor. Like Lucy Liu is probably the biggest actor in it. Chris Sullivan as well, but even then they're like kind of more, I would say now B-list. So like it's not getting all the eyes that it should. And then Black Bag, which is just one of the coolest romances set in a spy genre. I think Marissa Abella is a shoe-in for one of my 5 for supporting actress this year for Pickle Awards. I think that movie is so good. Just the scene where they're all like, I have it written down. The lie detector scene is my favorite scene of it. But also I just love how it's not. It is a spy movie, it is a romance, but they coexist so well, and showing that like people even in this profession can still find love. It was kind of sweet, honestly. And I really do love the chemistry between Cate Blanchett and Michael Fassbender. And I think Steven Soderbergh has just had a hell of a year, and he's done this before. Like when Chad and I covered 2000 on Picture This, he made 2 of those 5 movies that got nominated for Best Picture. Aaron Brockovich and I think what is it, Traffic is the other one. So I'm like, and then the year after that he made Ocean's 11. Like he is on a I want to say he's been on a tear forever because he is. I mean, every few years we were like, oh, wow, it's another Soderbergh like resurgence. I mean, the Magic Mike movies being as good as they were, Logan Lucky, and then just like all the stuff he was doing with like iPhones and making movies on iPhones for a few years. I believe Presence is also either filmed on an iPhone or filmed in a very unconventional means. So I just love what he's doing right now. And every time we get a film of his, it's always a real treat. And I think this year was a real testament to that, where I think these 2 movies are in my top 5 Soderbergh movies. I really do think he just delivered so well, and in the span of only a few months is really, really cool, and really set the tone for the earlier part of the year, where there were some movies that I liked but didn't love from filmmakers I was really expecting to like adore, and it was really cool that Soderbergh, I was like, I can rely on you, like I can count on you to deliver great movies even when some of my favorite directors are missing. So I was really, really happy with Steven Soderbergh's year of 2025. So that's my pick. Probably an unconventional one, but he's my MVP. He delivered 2 great movies. There's another director that I love even more who's on my Mount Rushmore who gave us 2 movies. I just haven't seen them yet. I'm waiting for my buddy Matt to watch one of them, and then the other one I have to watch Breathless first before I watch. So I'm just very excited though to check out that filmography of that guy who is unnamed, but y'all know who I'm talking about. But Steven Soderbergh did it, and I loved both of those movies. So Black Bag and Presence making up my MVP for Best Performer of the Year. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I said, I wrote Soderbergh down, and he was actually the first name I wrote down when I was thinking of MVP, because I was like, I mean, he dropped like 2, I would say really good movies, but one of those where it's like, maybe a little divisive, especially with Presence, because maybe not everybody's on that same wavelength, but I think it's such a great experiment. Hearing that it was filmed like near your house is just makes it even better to me. I'm like, oh my God, like that's so cool. Just like to know that it's a little bit close to home with one of my friends is really neat. But yeah, I really like that experiment. I like, love hate A Ghost Story because it's like one of the most depressing movies I've ever seen. But I thought it was like such a really interesting, cool movie. And Presence is kind of like that as well. Like you said, it's kind of like a emotional drama that is kind of disguised as a horror movie. I mean, it does have some creepy stuff in it, but yeah, I totally get that it's kind of a sad drama as well. And I just love the device that they use in it, and I just think it's a really well done movie that I surprised me because I know some people who are like, I hate that movie, and then I'm like, whoa, I actually really liked it. I thought it was pretty good. Black Bag is one that I really need to revisit. I think sometimes because I know I'm a big theater person, but I know you guys are even bigger like theater people. But for me, sometimes this is one of the big disadvantages to a theater is that I went to see Black Bag, and with my attention span a lot of the times. With Black Bag is one that you can't like miss a beat or you're kind of like done for the rest of the movie. And for me, I'm like, I'm not sure what's going on. Like, like 20 minutes into the movie, and then I'm like, I have no way to pause and rewind this. So I'm really excited to, when I get a chance, revisit it because I did like it. I thought it was very well made, but it when it was a lot of people's at that time favorite movies or in their top 10, it wasn't like that high for me, but I'm really excited to revisit. But yeah, I'm excited just to revisit and also watch for the first time a lot more Soderbergh because I think he's, both a very well high rated director, but also underrated because like you said, like he, just kind of delivers these things and, cranks them out, but he's always trying to, in a very kind of like James Cameron way, like trying to just like do things very differently and like, maybe invent new ways. Like another Soderbergh movie I did watch in 2025 was Unsane that I did
also
not
on an iPhone, filmed on an iPhone.
I did not expect anything from because it was like an iPhone movie. I was like, what is this just an experiment? And then I was like, the writing in this is so good and the acting, I was like, he like can elevate like a movie, like an iPhone movie and make it be something really good. And that's just his credit as a director is he's able to bring like a bunch of different like really cool movies in one year. And
yeah, and he's churning them out. He has another one that premiered at TIFF that is coming out this year. So I'm like, this guy, yeah, he's incredible. Matt, any thoughts on Steven Soderbergh 2025?
I haven't seen either of the movies, but Aaron Brockovich was the better movie from 2000.
Cool.
I like
I don't know if that's a hot take or not. Probably not. I would probably agree. I've never seen that, but I'm really excited to finally watch it soon. Sometime soon. Probably not this year.
What
but
did you guys not do 2000 on
Not
Pictures?
yet.
Not yet.
Oh,
We
I
did
thought you said
2001
you. I
for
thought you.
Lord of the Rings, but
Oh, see, I thought I heard you say that that when you guys covered 2000, but maybe you
No.
meant when you covered.
when we will
2000.
cover
That
2000,
yeah, that makes
we'll
sense.
talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah. JD, thoughts on Steven Soderbergh?
I actually, so the disinterest had nothing to do with Steven Soderbergh as like a filmmaker and the movies of this year. Like it was more to do with the fact how much do I really want to argue? How much do I really want to argue the veto if I were to push the veto? And I'm like, I really don't. I'm like, I'm not. I'm like, I don't really. It's that it's close enough. And I
I'll
was
tell
like,
you who
so
my backup was at the
I
end. but-
actually, believe it or not, I saw Black Bag. I actually really did like Black Bag. When I finally released my honorable mentions list on Letterboxd, you may see Black Bag on my list. The chemistry with that Michael Fassbender and Kate Blanchett had was I enjoyed it so much, and I love Marissa Abella from Industry. And I said she has a really bitey role in this, a meaty role in this too.
So good.
I just didn't have any interest in Presence, but I've heard, if you're into that kind of thing, you'll really like it. I just wasn't that interested. But again, yeah, my disinterest was more, my voice and my disinterest was more like, how much do I really want to veto this? Yeah, it was not about Steven Soderbergh.
Cool. Well, we will move on to your pick unless Kerri has anything to chime in with, but she can also chime in later when we get to her pick as well if she has any thoughts on Mr. Soderbergh. But JD, what is going to be your next pick?
All right, so I'm gonna pull back up my list. Because I was looking, I'm like, I was looking like, did I put Black Bag on my letter? I thought I did. I wanted to check that. Anyways, so I think the next one I'm gonna
Nobody's
do.
picked and anticipated, just saying. Not to sway you to do that, it's just very interesting. Yeah.
Oh, and anticipated is definitely one of them. It's gonna be the one after that is what I'm
Cool.
deciding. So anticipated. I think I'm gonna do it. It's the boring choice, but I'm gonna do it. The Odyssey.
Oh,
No
okay.
one.
Very cool. Very cool.
As I said, it's the boring choice. I was like, there's another one that you hinted at Dill earlier that I would that is also like it was like I'm like that's maybe the more interesting choice. But I'm like no, I'll let you have that one. I'll go for the boring one. I love Nolan. I mean, Nolan for me is he is probably how I got into introduced me to more sophisticated filmmaking, more nuanced filmmaking with
Mhm.
like Batman Begins and The Prestige, that 1-2 punch over that 2-year period. Like um so ever since then, I've gone back and watched everything that he did before, and I've watched everything that he's done after. So anything Nolan, even like, his lesser ones are still really interesting. In this, like him, he always has done so he's always been so more interested in doing grounded takes on movies. To see him actually go into Greek mythology and take one of the biggest Greek epics of all time and just the just the and putting his spin on it. As I said, when I saw the first trailer on Mike with Tom Holland earlier in July, I was like, I'm sold. I'm here. I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm done. Take my
Yeah.
money.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's one of those things that's like, oh, Nolan's doing the Odyssey. Okay, cool. Like it's almost kind of like no one's like, whoa, because it's like, okay, it makes sense. Like obviously he's never done like an epic of this size in terms of fantasy necessarily. I guess Inception
Yeah.
is probably the closest. But yeah, like you watch it and it's like, okay, I'm getting shades of Dunkirk, I'm getting shades of Inception, I'm getting shades of Batman, like all his trademarks, but for a different story that's timeless and beloved and cool to see it visualized at the budget he will visualize it at with the star power he has. I think it's one of my most anticipated as well as in my top 5. I just don't know how you cannot be at least a little excited for it. So yeah, it's great. Or I haven't seen it, but I'm assuming it's going to be great, and I'm excited to see it. Matt, thoughts on the Odyssey?
I'm a massive Nolan fan. I was before Nolan Bros ruined it for all of us. But Prestige is one of my favorite movies of all time. Of course, fit check here. Batman. I love Batman, and so he made the definitive Batman trilogy. Like, I'm a massive fan, so I was always going to be excited for this. And yeah, you're right. It's like, okay, he's in the Odyssey. Okay, that's a no-brainer. That feels right. And I would have been excited about this had I seen nothing else about it. But when I went and saw a movie in IMAX, which I hate IMAX, but I happened to have gone to see a movie in IMAX recently, which I'm not going to say in case. No, wait, everybody's picked their thing, and I'm not picking it. Avatar. Went and saw Avatar in IMAX, and they did the entire Trojan horse scene before the movie. They showed the entire Trojan horse scene before the movie. I don't know if other people saw that or not.
I'm so jealous. I didn't see it in IMAX. I saw it in Dolby, so I'm kicking myself.
Here's the thing.
Okay, let me ask you. This is off topic. Did it look like video game characters when you saw it in Dolby?
The Odyssey trailer?
No, the Avatar. because that was the problem with Dolby last time. I should have seen it.
I didn't think so.
Dang it.
I don't know.
So
It's still there.
So
Oh.
it depends. It depends.
No,
on,
I'm not going to see it again. Anyway,
All right, we get it. Not everyone's seeing it
Anyway.
5 times like Dylan.
no.
I'm kidding. I'm totally messing around. I'm messing around.
Okay, maybe I'm an idiot for thinking that it looked like video games, but that's what it looked
No,
like.
no, you're not, because
saw it on Dolby.
it's a high frame rate you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah,
There was some of that. I just didn't personally think, like, it didn't ruin it for me. But the high frame rate.
I'm not
most
asking if it ruined it. I'm asking if it still looked like that.
In the
on Dolby.
first few scenes, a little bit, I was like, oh, it looks a little bit like
Okay.
the high frame rate. So
So-
probably, but it didn't. It didn't stay consistent for me. But
So-
that's another combo for another time. But
Yeah,
yeah, no,
I was
I was more so laughing at the fact that I'm the only one who's probably going to see it twice in theaters. That's what I was going for.
I've
That's
seen
what I
it
was
twice
going
in theaters, Dill, because my dad. I was gonna go by. I initially went by myself. So this is why I was gonna. That's why I didn't mean to interrupt you, though. I had seen it twice, and the honest answer is it depends on what movie theater you decide to see it in, because depending on what theater you saw it in, the first time I saw it, 100% you could tell it was speeding up. The second time that I saw it, I couldn't tell because it was like proper. Because I think the second theater, I think actually just did it in like 20. It ignored the instruction and just did it normal 24 frames per second. So it looked normal. But if they actually bothered, as I said, if you run into a theater like my first theater, it 100% they just ran high frame rate for the whole movie.
Interesting.
It's just that I saw it in IMAX this time, even though I hate IMAX because last time I saw the Way of Water in Dolby, and it looked like, and the action scenes looked like video game cutscenes. Anyway, that's not what I'm talking about here. What
No,
were
I
we
love
talking about?
I love an Avatar tangent. We were talking about the Odyssey playing before the
The Odyssey. So anyway, they showed the Trojan horse scene, which number one, it's from the Iliad, so I was very excited that that's going to be in there. But number two, you think you know what that's going to look like, but Nolan like makes it true to, like, it's true to the story, but it's in a way it feels different than you necessarily think it's going to look like, and that's what I love about that. I'm just very excited. Anybody complaining about how, well, historically their armor would look like, shut up. That's why we're not having a historian make it. We're having a filmmaker make it.
And also like it's an adaptation. Like, Jesus Christ, it's like it's Nolan's adaptation of the story. What he wants to do with it doesn't really matter.
Right.
It's an adaptation.
Right. Historical accuracy, and go back to our 1995 episode of Picture This when I go on a rant about this. Historical accuracy is a modern convention. It's only in the last few years that people have really ever cared about that.
Yeah, the only ones allowed to complain are
anyway.
the ones that are like, if Homer himself was like, I don't like what they're doing with my material. If we have a Saving Mr. Banks situation, then we'll talk. But like, yeah, I agree with you.
Or
all these people
if Odysseus was real, and we're like, okay, I don't like how they made up this thing about him, but Odysseus is not real. It's an epic poem. Like, it's fine. Anyway, I'm very excited about this movie. That's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. I'm very, very excited. It was my number one. Now I'm gonna have to figure out what to do now.
I just love how we had a whole tangent about Avatar high frame rate, and then we got back.
Yeah, no,
I love that though. I love having JD and Matt on, because we will tangent it up, and Matt and Chad too. All four of us are guilty of it. Kerri's our concise one, who keeps us on track for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Kerri, thoughts on the Odyssey?
I'm excited to see it. It's not on my list of most anticipated, but I am excited to see what Nolan does with the material and everything.
Yeah, Chad.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited, but it's one of those things to where it feels like, I don't know, it's on a level of like pretension a little bit that I'm just like, okay. I think it's what Matt said, like film bros or Nolan bros ruin it for everyone, where it just kind of feels like it's like the next Nolan movie, and he's like, I'm dropping, you can buy tickets right now when I'm announcing the movie. And I'm like, can we not, can we just not have it to where it's like people are acting like this is the next best picture or something like that before this movie is even like a thought? and it's just like for me, it's just like
So your problem with it is the marketing?
yeah, it's like a level of hype that well, I mean that's what we're talking about.
It's
Well,
the
aren't we
BDE. It's a lot of BDE. It's a lot of.
Aren't we
Yeah, I could see that.
Aren't we talking about anticipation right now?
Yeah,
And like,
no,
Yeah, I
are
guess
you
so, but
anticipated
I'm
for it?
anticipating the movie, not how they market it.
And for me, I mean, that plays into anticipation. Is
It
like they
does.
drop the
I'm
first
just messing.
trailer and people are like, "Did you see that trailer?" And I'm like, "It's a bunch of famous fucking people in like Spartan gear. It's nothing special." And even like, I don't know, it just like doesn't really feel. I mean, I didn't see the trailer in the theater. Maybe if I
Right.
saw it in the theater, I'd be a little
Well,
bit
Matt
more
also
hyped,
got the full
but
15. It's like 15 minutes, right? The full scene.
Yeah, the
yeah.
15-minute
Yeah.
Trojan horse scene.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, maybe maybe it is going to be the next best thing. It's going to be something that's going to blow everybody's hair off. I'm sure, but for me, it's just like the hype isn't like really like there yet. I don't know if Nolan's the right choice for this kind of story because it's just like thinking about like a fantasy kind of like fable story. I'm kind of thinking about like, with Batman, he's more of the grounded realism kind of a thing. And I'm just like, that's not really like the fantasy of it. Like, how is he going to handle like the creatures and stuff like that? Like, we saw like a
Well,
little
that's
bit
what
of
I'm most excited for too. Yeah.
the thing.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm wondering, like, I'm more on like the how is he going to handle it kind of a
Yeah.
thing. So I'm interested, but like my excitement is a little bit more tapered than other people who are kind of like shitting their pants for it.
Yeah.
So.
You also weren't as high on Oppenheimer as Matt and I think. So that also.
Well, I wasn't at first, but then I grew to really love that movie. I still think The Holdovers is better.
Yeah. And Matt,
I mean, I
so
agree.
that's okay. That's okay. All right, yeah, The Odyssey. We're all excited about it in some ways, shapes, or forms. But yeah, I'm a Nolan bro. I'm losing my mind over it. I don't care. I'll admit it. I'm hyped for it. I'm also Avatar pilled too, and I will see it 5 times in theaters. I don't care. GD, take us away with another pick.
Ooh, so this one is the tough one.
Take it
I mean,
away. Why are
feel
you
like
taking
it-
us away?
'cause I
Sorry.
feel like
I don't know
I
how to
think
host anymore.
because I feel like at this point, like all my performers are pretty safe, like based on how everything has been
Well,
going.
and
like,
everyone's already picked their MVPs, so you should probably pick your scene.
Yeah,
if we're being honest.
yeah, I will pick scene. So I'm wondering if I like my top 2 have been taken. And I don't think anyone else has any of my other ones. So, I think do I do a pivot? You know what? I'll do a pivot because honestly, this would have been on my list. I just at the time I wasn't really. I knew I was forgetting something on my list. I was just like what was it? And it was it's gonna be from Weapons. Weapons. There are a couple moments from Weapons that would. There are 2 moments that would be on my list for Weapons. I just didn't think about it until Matt brought up Amy Madigan, and then it's like, oh, that's right, that's what I was forgetting. But so there are 2 movements. There's a raw moment, and then there's a really tense, like holy shit, what just happened moment. And I think that's the one I'm gonna go with because that was the one where I was like, that was the moment where I was like, oh, so this is what this movie is. Holy shit. Which is the moment where Gladys, what I call um I'm just gonna say it. It's the moment where Gladys goes to visit the principal at the house, and it's revealed that it's witchcraft. I'm like, so that's I just like a lot of things started. That's the moment where everything kind of clicks, and you're just like, wow, voodoo dolls and witchcraft. It's so, and I'm just like, and it's so brutal too as well. And then what happens right after with that, it's just where he forces him to just kill the spouse, and it's so heartbreaking. And then but again, it's also like your jaw is on the ground, like I can't believe that he would go there. A lot of filmmakers wouldn't kill an on a nowadays would kill a kind of out kind of out same-sex couple. Like a lot of people would be scared to do that, and it's just like, and it's yeah. There's a lot to respect about this movie, and again, that was like the moment I'm like, they told you in the first scene that it was witchcraft with the car, but you didn't really know that it was somebody else, not her.
Nice. Kerri, thoughts on the scene from Weapons?
Yeah, I love this pick. I had a different scene from Weapons on my list, but I think this is just a fantastic scene to pick as well. And it has so much depth to it because it is like you start out the scene like laughing because the couple is like kind of funny. They have like a ridiculous amount of hot dogs on a tray and like and yeah, you get the reveal, you get like Amy Madigan like really being so like she just throws you off because she's just so weird in the scene, and then you get the reveal of like what this all is about, and like then the heartbreak of what actually happens to the principal and to his husband. And it is a fantastic scene. It's like tense, and you kind of know what you feel like you know what's going to happen before it happens, but you're just like, no, I don't want this to happen. I hope that's not what happens. And then yeah, they go for it. Yeah, and yeah, there are a lot of scenes actually I think in this movie that are just fantastic, but that's a really great pick.
Nice.
Yeah,
Chad?
I think it's interesting just the way the movie is structured. Like when you see like BD Wong, that's his name, right?
No,
Benedict Wong.
Benedict Wong. Sorry, it's the other guy. Benedict Wong, like running at her at the gas station. You're like, what the hell happened to that guy? And then they show you later what happened to him, and you just don't really know what to expect. But you know, there's going to be some shit happens, and then I think you're still surprised by that scene, like what actually happens. Like JD and Kerri, like the balls to kill a gay couple.
Yep.
When you have like that's a trope, is like what kill your gays, like that's a whole trope in stuff. And so here, like that's literally what they're doing. Or at least, you know, you kill like one partner and then the other partner's like basically dead, like basically like taken over. And it's such a cute couple. Like Kerri was talking about, they have like this whole like system where they have like this awesome like like movie food or like sports food, whatever they're watching, kind of thing. And they got like their little trays and their little chairs, and you're just like, oh, what a cute couple. And then you just don't know like the tragedy that's about to strike. And then she comes in, she's incredible. Her whole system of how she gets them, and just so, cold, like she's just matter of fact, like this is what we're doing. It's just so insane. And yeah, this is such a gnarly scene. Great pick.
Yeah. And it sounds like we might have more weapons discussion later. We already had some, so Matt may want to chime in when he comes back, but his computer got unplugged, so he'll be back shortly. But luckily his pick will still have to wait because my pick is next, and I am going with my most anticipated film, since everyone else has picked their series and no one was going to pick my series anyway. My most anticipated film is gotta be I picked Steven Soderbergh, SS. I'm going to pick Steven Spielberg, SS. And it kind of is along the lines of the Odyssey thing where it's like, film bro, like, let's go. I'm picking Disclosure Day as my pick. That was probably very predictable of me. And I'll be honest, like the trailer itself has not sold me yet on the movie as much as when I heard this was happening, Steven Spielberg's making a UFO movie. I was like, okay, I'm sold, sign me up. But then I watched a trailer and I was just so caught up in the mystery of it and how bad the CGI animals looked that I'm now just like, you know what? It might not be like another Oscar darling Best Picture winner or nominee like Fabelmans or West Side Story. But the fact that he just, after a slew of good movies, made like two of his best all-time movies of all time with West Side Story and Fabelmans back to back, I have confidence that this will at least deliver and be great in some way, shape, or form. And the fact that he's just going back to the well of sci-fi and an original sci-fi story, not like Ready Player One, which is based on a previous material. Like this is his story, his idea, even though he's not writing it. it's story by Steven Spielberg, script by writer. So I do like the fact that he's like, you know what, I'm gonna have someone else write it for me, but this is my idea. I'm gonna direct it. And it's an original sci-fi. Josh O'Connor, there he is. He's coming back. And then of course Emily Blunt, in a role that I really could see her. If this does end up becoming an awards darling, I think it's going to probably end up somewhere like the recent Jordan Peele movies have, where it might not be taken as seriously as a Best Picture nominee. But I could definitely see her at least getting some buzz for at least a SAG nomination, because Lupita Nyong'o had success there. Emily Blunt herself has had success there for Quiet Place. So her doing a genre film is probably a good sign, hopefully, for her chances. But I don't even want to talk about awards. I'm just excited to get more Steven Spielberg movies, especially sci-fi movies, original sci-fi movies. So I'm just really excited. Again, the trailer itself didn't have me worried per se, but it wasn't like I didn't watch a trailer and was like, oh my God, losing my mind. But it was also just one of those things where I'm like, yep, I'm sold. I'm down. I'm there for it. It is my most anticipated movie of the year, just because, if there's anyone I'm more in line for than Christopher Nolan, it's Steven Spielberg. And that's kind of it. It's like Nolan, Spielberg, James Cameron. Call me a film bro, but like those are the three filmmakers I will always show up for in the big screen treatment, no matter what they do on the biggest screen possible. And there's even another director that is doing another massive film that I'm surprised isn't amongst the top 2 picks for most anticipated. It's just how exciting a year it's going to be, I think. But yeah, Disclosure Day, it's my pick. I'm really, really, really excited for it. But JD, you picked The Odyssey, obviously. But what do you think about Disclosure Day as another anticipated pick?
So it wasn't Odyssey, as I said, Odyssey was the boring choice, but I think this is the more, as I was saying, this was the one I was saying was the more interesting choice, because I do see, like you, Steven Spielberg and Nolan are my 2 favorite filmmakers of all time. Steven Spielberg has my favorite, as everybody knows here, it has my favorite movie of all time. We don't need to talk about that. But I've been on board for, as I said, and the CGI, I've heard people I was on board from the trailer immediately, and then I heard people were complaining about the CGI. I'm like, it's like 7 months away. They have time to fix the CGI. The fact of the matter is, I'm so intrigued by the mystery. That's going to get sorted out by the time it gets.
I agree.
When it gets filmed. So the fact you have me sold on the mystery, I'm on board. I'm completely on board. And I've said a number of times, I'm like, we are not ready for a summer where we're going to have both a Nolan original and not a Nolan original, but a Nolan movie and a Spielberg movie in the same summer. Like, this is 2026 summer of 2026 is a great time to be a film fan.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and that's on top of other great movies that are also coming out in the summer that I, like from other great filmmakers too. Like it's so exciting. I'm very excited.
Yes.
Matt, are you excited for Disclosure Day?
Yes. I didn't even put it on my list because I knew with you and JD there was no point, and I didn't even want to take it from one of you. Like that was kind of the way I went. But yeah, I'm very excited. And you said by the writer. It's not just the writer; it's David Koepp, Spielberg and Koepp back together.
I know,
like that.
I didn't know if it was Koepp or Kushner, so I didn't say it because I didn't have a fact check. I thought it could have been Kushner, so I didn't say it. But yeah, David Koepp. Yep, sign me up. Again, you're making my case.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just there's something exciting about. Not only is he making another UFO movie, but he's doing it with David Koepp, who some of his most iconic classics are written by. So like it's just it's very exciting, and I'm excited for it. The trailer, like, I agree with you, like there's something about it that it has me excited because I want to see the movie, but the trailer didn't really do anything for me. But I'm hoping that's a good thing. I'm hoping that that it's because they're hiding enough of it that this is just to whet our appetite, and then we'll get a lot of really great stuff in the film. So I'm excited for it. Yeah, it looks good.
David Koepp also wrote both Black Bag and Presents. Just saying.
I was going to mention that.
Yeah. And obviously, the ones he's alluding to, Jurassic Park and World of the Worlds, and the latest 2 Indiana Jones movies, I believe, and Lost World. Like, he's done a lot for Spielberg, which is great. So I'm very excited. Chad and Kerri, you guys excited for Disclosure Day? Chad?
Yeah, I'm definitely excited. I mean, I'm always excited for Spielberg. Even like the ones that people kind of like trash for Spielberg, a lot of the times I like The Terminal kind of a deal.
Mhm.
So it's one of those where I always think he makes something interesting. Like, I don't love what was it called? Ready Player One, stuff like
Mm.
that. So there's he has some misses and stuff like that. But like, yeah, this is like his wheelhouse, alien stuff. I mean, my favorite Spielberg film is an alien film, and so I'm really excited to see what he does with this. I don't know if this is going to be like also more on like the political sphere. Like, I don't love the title Disclosure Day. I'm like, and is this like a bureaucratic movie? Like, what is this movie kind of a deal? But I'm also intrigued. Like, what's the title? Like you have like the like Dylan was saying, the mystery of the trailer just really has me just hyped and just kind of like wondering what this movie is going to be. So yeah, and you guys hyping it up with the filmmakers, the writer, the director, and like even if Spielberg's not like the credited writer, like he always has a hand in the story. So I'm really excited to see what he brings us next. I love the Fableman, so yeah.
Yeah, Kerri.
Yeah, give me a Steven Spielberg alien movie. I'm all in for it. I'm excited
Oh.
for this one.
Here we go. Yeah, I'm so excited. Okay, Matt, are you gonna keep us going with anticipated, or are you gonna pick your what else you had to do? Your movie.
Those ones are still hard. What was JD's scene? I didn't.
Oh, sorry, it was
I,
the
my...
an Aunt Gladys scene from Weapons where he kills the principal and his husband.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Mhm.
yeah, it's a good scene.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I was gonna say, do you have any thoughts on Amy Madigan?
yeah, she's great. I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna do it. I don't. I like to spread it out a little bit more, but at this point, 3 of my top 4 have been taken, so I'm gonna go with film. I'm gonna go with my favorite film, which is Weapons.
Okay.
It's my favorite film is one battle after another, but I'm gonna go with it, and the only reason I'm doing that is because I still haven't narrowed down my most anticipated yet. And we've said so much about this movie already. Zach Krager has a knack for horror, and while his comedy that he made, Miss March, it's not a good movie. He does have a comedy background outside of that. I believe he was part of Whitest Kids You Know as well.
Mhm.
It's his comedy background really is what helps set him apart as a horror filmmaker. It's similar with as with Jordan Peele, like their shift from comedy to horror is really what helps set these guys apart and makes their horror movies really feel unique. And I just really like Weapons. I know there are people who feel like it's a sexist movie and a homophobic movie, but I disagree with those people. I haven't heard that a lot, but it's like some people close to me, I've heard them say that, and these are not women or queer people, so take that for what you will. But for me, because it's like, okay, but so much bad happens to women and queer people in this movie, but when most of the characters are either women or queer, like that's gonna happen, and that's really how, like, that's, to me, that's healing. Like that's like these things aren't happening to the women and queer people because they are to kill your gay or anything like that. It's happening because they are the characters in this movie, and when you allow these characters to be characters, then things that are going to happen to normal people are going to happen. Anyway, I really like Weapons. It's a great movie, and that's really it.
Yeah. JD, you just talked about the scene. I know, Kerri, you mentioned you have other scenes that you might pick from Weapons too. I know we've all talked about Amy Madigan. Does anyone have anything else to add to the conversation about Weapons, which is obviously one of the breakout hits of the year?
To
JD?
Matt's point, I just really quick that I haven't said before. I think that and this kind of ties into my scene, but I didn't necessarily say it at greatest. I think because he just sees these people as I said, these characters as people. Like, he doesn't see them based on like the archetypes that they are. They're just people who are living their lives. When he's not necessarily afraid to necessarily kill these people when most filmmakers would, because we're seeing their lives and we're seeing them day to day. So it's the right decision that when they do the things, when they enter and exit, when they enter and exit. And I just think I respect that about this movie
Mhm.
a lot. I don't know if I'm saying this right, but
No,
I
I
got
listen, as a queer man. I'm not a woman, so I can't speak to that, but as a queer man, I feel like I can say that the queer characters in this movie felt like people. They felt like characters. They felt like people. They did not feel like token characters. They
Mhm.
didn't feel like they were treated differently because of who they were. They felt like they were treated like characters and living their lives. So that's how I feel. I agree with you there.
Nice. I hope everyone enjoyed that brief 30-second glimpse of Kerri and Chad's yard. I saw what you were trying to do, Chad. That was a valiant attempt. Do you guys have anything to add about Weapons?
Yeah, I think Weapons is an incredible horror movie. I love the structure. It's very like Rashomon style. I always love kind of that style where it's like different perspectives and you see a later part of the story earlier in the movie and you're just like, how do we get there kind of a deal. That's always really fun. I think all the characters are really cool. I like the whole vibe of it. I like how they introduce certain things and concepts in the movie about, you know, people like maybe being taken over and stuff, and it's very creepy in that way. And I'm probably not going to pick this, but I'll talk about it briefly. Just this another scene I think is incredible is just the opening of the film. I
Mhm.
love how because I one of my a group that I really like, Wu-Tang Clan, they have a member who created an album called Liquid Swords, and that album opens with a quote from a samurai movie, and it's about like, you know, a little girl talking about what happened to her father. And this movie starts in that way too, where it's just a little girl voice talking about, you know, the story, like what happened to all these kids. And you know, I just love that device. It kind of makes it feel kind of like a fairy tale style, like you're about to open a book and, you know, read this really creepy tale. I love that, and I love just the iconic run that the kids do out of the house with the arms to the side. It's just really cool, and it makes for a great poster. Makes you know, for just a really like, you're like, what is going on in this movie? And yeah, I love how it's really dramatic a lot of the times, but also ends with a lot of like comedy, with a comedy flourish to it. And you're just like, oh, you're not ready for this ending. And it kind of like actually reminds me of no wonder Matt loves this movie. It reminds me of The Substance ending, where it just goes all out and goes really wacky
Mm,
with it. And I love that and stuff. So yeah, it's a great movie.
nice. Kerri?
Yeah, I'll just say I think this was the scariest movie of the year and maybe one of the funniest movies of the year, and a movie that can pull off both so well. It always has a special place in my heart. And I think the most, like, I didn't go to the theater that much this year, but the most fun I had in the theater last year for sure.
Nice. Very cool.
Speaking of possible MVPs, one that I should have picked, I think Good Boy is the scariest movie of the year.
That was
Uh-huh,
pretty
yeah.
I
scary
haven't seen
too.
that one yet. But I will say that it's funny because you mentioned The Substances, because that was my pick last year for film of the year. at this draft, and this year it's weapons. So I'm 2 for 2 on horror movies the last 2
Period.
years.
I love that. Always
and
reliable.
that's just a peek into the kind of movies I like. If you like, it's very clear what I enjoy.
There you go. Well, you got a new. I'm not going to tip any picks, but a lot of new horror movies coming up next year. I almost tipped a lot. Not going to say anything more. Chad, you and Kerri both still have your anticipated and your scenes left, so you got to pick one of them right now.
It's me next. Oh shit. I'm not prepared at all. Oh no.
You can't tell
I
if this
guess
is a bit or not.
I don't
I
actually.
can't either.
I don't know either. I'll go with my scene, and then I'll go with.
Ooh.
Ooh.
JD. We're all looking around. JD's like, "Yep, it's me."
I'll go with my scene, and then I'll go with my.
Sorry.
Woke me up. Ooh.
My
Sorry, guys.
After that, that's okay.
Right.
So I'll go with my scene. I was gonna pick a Naked Gun one, but I'll be a little bit more different to get more representation because Dylan picked one, but I will mention the other scene in my honorable mentions. So I'm gonna go with this scene, and it's the ending of James Gunn's Superman. The ending scene where I think it's because it's the culmination of everything, like with his his identity and trying to figure out with what's going on with his parents. Like he has this whole like existential like who am I moments. Like that's the whole thing about Superman is people are always like Superman's boring, like he's so OP, there's nothing really about him that's interesting. And then you get to a time in 2025 where things seem so dire, and then one of the great like superhero filmmakers comes out with the next like best Superman movie and says this is why he's interesting, because he's a good guy, and that's so underrated. Is like the good superhero who he doesn't care about the rules as long as he's going to go help someone. And when he has to like kind of internalize, am I a good guy kind of a deal, like even though he has all of that stuff with him where he's talking about like I'm gonna go do the right thing no matter if it's hard, no matter if people are mad about it, I'm still gonna go do the right thing and help people. And then to see that his parents that he idolized actually wanted him to do something else, he's like like who am I kind of a deal. And then he goes and he sees that the parents that actually raised him are the ones that made him who he is and made him mix with his powers that come from his birthplace, but his found family, his parents that raised him were the ones that taught him to be good. It kind of goes into the whole idea of Harry Potter and like choices, and it's not who you were made to be, it's who you choose to be, and you do have free will in that essence. And that scene really brings it home where he's watching. Hold on. Oh no. 1 second, buddy. Where he's watching the him growing up with his parents, and just how everything that his parents did for him, and just with a smile on his face, that's true happiness to him. And that really made me like leave the theater just like really excited. It was like at that point it was like this is my number one movie, and I just really adored it. And I think that scene is just incredible. It makes me so happy and sad at the same time, but happy tears.
Are you talking about the I'm as human as anyone scene? Like the
I haven't seen it in a while, but it's where he's watching like all the
videos.
So he's watching all the home videos at the end with Mom and Pa Kent. I'm assuming that's the one that you're talking
Yeah.
about.
He's
okay.
sitting in his chair watching all the videos.
And what's the song?
got
There's a great song that plays. I can't remember. It's a good needle drop though.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
We should look it up.
The punk rocker song.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it was the
it's
punk
punk
rock
rocker, yeah.
one. Because he's a punk rocker.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I will say that's such a beautiful, touching note to end the film on. when you're describing the film though, and I love this about it, but it is very James Gunn because that's exactly what Guardians 2 is about. It's not the birth father, it's the guy who raised you.
Oh, it's biological family versus
I
family.
love that
Yeah.
whole thing that James Gunn
Yeah,
brings to the whole daddy
ego,
thing.
it's ego and Yondu all over again. Maybe because I just watched that film again last week. Showed it to Allie for the first time. We loved it. It's my favorite MCU film. That's probably why I'm not like I love Superman, but like parts of it I'm like, oh, this is very much James Gunn's MO. But I love that about it. I think he brings his own style to it. We're not talking about the movie though. We're talking about the ending, and it is such a good ending. It's my second favorite scene in the movie. There's another one that I probably would have put before this, but a very similar coded scene, like a very similar themes, very similar type of scene, just in a different part of the movie. But the ending's great. It really does set you off for the credits in a very positive, uplifting way, which a movie of Superman should, and it hasn't always, surprisingly. Matt, as a superhero Batman nerd, what did you think of Superman, the ending of it?
Okay, so that theme, it's who you are, that's just a comics theme. Like that's why it's present in both of those things. It's just it's just a theme in comic books in general. I spent the whole time thinking that you were talking about the "I'm as human as anyone" speech he gives to Lex Luthor. That scene that you were talking about, I mean, it's a similar. They are similar. They have similar things. But yeah, that's a really great scene. I agree with that. It's really, I really like that movie. It's really great.
Yeah, JD.
It's a great scene. I think about what Matt said about Star Wars fandom earlier. I have the same thing about DC fandom nowadays. I think it's gone really toxic, especially with Zack Snyder versus Gunn versus Reeves, all that. But that's not what we're talking about here. But that was kind of why I was just kind of like I was smirking, like
you were disregarding Superman discourse altogether. Yeah,
correct. It's just yeah.
Cool. Well, I don't know if Kerri is now in your room, Chad, or if she's.
I am.
She is. Yay! Oh, look at that. You do have back-to-back picks right now. Is this a bad time to do it? Or,
oh my gosh, I'm just gonna give Elliot his crackers and then I'll run upstairs. I'm so sorry.
Can we talk more about Superman?
Sure, Chad. Go ahead.
I didn't think you were gonna say yes to that. Superman, I think, was really incredible. I don't really like the Zack Snyder Superman. I think it's too dark and brooding. I just think it got like the whole what Superman is like so wrong, in my opinion. I know there's people that adore that Superman, but for me, like this is the one that really spoke to me, and I love how God, what is the actor's name?
David
Cornsweat. I think he was just so perfect and genuine in it. And apparently he's just like the nicest guy too. So it's like the perfect guy to play Superman. No shade to Henry Cavill.
So no, I think Henry Cavill is great, but I don't like. I think he's great in the role. I just don't. I agree with you. I'm not a fan of Snyder's version of Superman. I will say every behind the scenes video I see of David Cornsweat as talking to Gunn or whatever about his role and stuff like that, and getting motivation for that always makes me love him even more, because he truly wants to understand the character and the motivation, and he obviously does truly understand the character.
He's
so
great.
I really love that.
Chad, let's know, or JD.
Yeah.
Then we have to move on.
No, it's fine. We can move on.
I just wanted to say,
go ahead.
I have this little crypto toy that Elliot loves, and he calls him Superman Pluto.
Yes, I love that.
Well, he's right.
Yeah,
Chad somehow figured that out today because Elliot kept asking for him. We could not figure out what the heck he was talking about.
Superman Pluto. I love it though. That's great. Cool. All right. Well, Kerri, you're back. Do you want to give us your final picks here on the draft? We're rounding out the draft now. Final round we're headed into, but let's wrap up round 4. You still have your most anticipated and your scene to go.
Okay. I think I'll do my scene first. I have a bunch from movies that we've talked about, but I kind of want to choose something that we haven't discussed. So I'm going to go with a scene in Begonia.
Ooh.
And I'm going to choose the scene where Emma Stone's character brings Jesse Plemons' character to her office.
Big spoiler alert for Begonia, everyone.
Yeah, we have to be really careful here.
Has everyone here seen it?
Yes, I've seen
Yeah.
it. Yes.
Have
Okay,
you?
Okay,
so
cool.
I think we're safe. We're safe. Yeah.
Well, okay. Do you
Okay,
want me to
everybody
re-say?
watching,
I can
stop watching if you
re-say
haven't
it
seen
in a different, maybe in a non-spoiler way for the
I'll
general
write the
audience.
office visit on the draft board, and those who know.
Okay.
Yeah, you can elaborate a little bit on the moment. If you haven't seen Begonia, guys, on the bottom it'll say round 5, pick one when it's safe to come back.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks. Wait. So Dylan, you've seen it?
I've seen it. I watched it a few days ago.
Okay, Matt, you've seen it. Everyone's seen it.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. Okay. Yeah, I just thought this was like it was a really tense scene. Also, a little bit like the whole movie is like very dark comedy at
Yes, it's very
times.
funny.
But I thought this was just a great moment. Like the whole movie kind of leads up to this showdown and a really great moment, I thought. And I think for me at least, I was still so between which way things could go in this movie. Is everything real or is everything fake? And I think Emma Stone just plays it so fantastic. You just really, I think, have no idea. So yeah, and I thought just the way it was, I don't know. I just really like this scene.
Yeah. How far into the scene are we ending the scene? Is it through the visit to the
I mean,
other
I
world,
would
or?
love if we can have that long of a scene. I would love for it to be like
I think it's
until
fine,
we
yeah.
kind of get the
Until
reveal.
the credits, basically.
Yeah, well, yeah, the reveal at
Not
least
like-
I think should be part of it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
that's what caps the scene off really well.
I was
Yeah.
gonna. So you want up to the point it's revealed whether or not we're going one way or the other.
Yes, but if not, that's totally. If we want to just take it to
No, I think
that
it's fine.
first office visit,
That's
because she
fine.
does go away in an ambulance, so
Right,
I totally
and then she
understand. And
runs
I think
back,
either
yeah.
is fine.
I would say that's all part of the same scene. And, up until the reveal, I think is the appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The office visit is like the doorbell ringing and the housekeeper coming back to the house in Parasite, and then like her coming back to the office is her going downstairs. I
Yeah.
feel like
Mhm.
that's kind of where we're at. So it
Yeah.
all kind of culminates in the same. But either way, yeah, that whole last act of Begonia, I think some people think it falls apart at the end. I think it works better in the end. I actually think until the end, I was just kind of like, it was like mid-tier Yorgos for me, and then I think by the end it sold me. Like I think that's where I was like, okay, I dig this. But I know a lot of people are different on it, so I'm very curious to hear briefly what people think of the interpretation of the film in general or the ending. But that moment's great.
I'd like to address that. Okay, so I like the movie throughout. I think it's very funny throughout the whole movie, but I think that because of where I live in Oklahoma, like I know those people, like, and so I think that a lot of it felt like it hit very close to home. But also, like, I love this movie, but it spends the whole time with is it real? Is it not? That whole thing. Once we get to that scene pretends to tell you that, and this is a spoiler again. If you haven't seen it, click the round 5 episode 1, whatever it is, pick one. Button, but it tries to pretend like it's not real, and it even like you're right, she plays it so well with like the still making you not sure, and then like the explosion happens and all that happens. Once she starts running back, it's like, okay, I can see what they're trying to say, like what's going to happen here. I still thought they weren't going to tell us, though. I thought they were going to, because, and I've had this conversation, and I even had this in a DM with Dylan, that it's become de rigueur in movies to not reveal a thing, to make you wonder at the end. It's become so standard to tell you, to give you that it's not real thing, and then have like in the final moment there be a thing that make you go, huh, maybe it is real, but not really tell you. That revealing the truth fully has become a subversion. Like it's almost like 80s and 90s style movies now. Like they used to do that, and then that was de rigueur, and then they went on and they did the other, and then they went the other way where they're just like, we're not going to reveal the truth about anything ever. And so to tell the actual truth of what's happening is a subversion in itself, and I loved that, and especially that scene after is really, really great. But that whole thing, the fact that they did it, just upped this movie for me so much. I already liked it a lot, and then this did amazing. I also think that making her an alien speaks more to the satire of the film that the comedy is really from anyway. So I think that works as well. But yeah, I'm gonna stop there. But yeah, I really like this movie and that scene.
Yeah, I wonder how it'll play on rewatch now, knowing where it all unfolds. Because we probably will. We most definitely will have to rewatch it for Picture This, Chad. But Chad, any thoughts on this scene?
Yeah, it's one that, like, you know, going through this movie, like, I really like the kind of it's not cat and mouse. It's just like a, you know, back and forth between them, really, where it's just like, you know, is it or is it not kind of a deal. And I really did enjoy that, just because, like, the performances of both actors are just so incredible. Not both, but all actors, because even the his brother was so good. But I liked Emma Stone in the movie so much that I liked the idea of a character that is so like strong, like, you know, businesswoman kind of a thing, that she's gonna, you know, she's not gonna run away from the scene immediately, even though that's like everyone's instinct is to do that. But she's gonna channel her inner Willow Rosenberg and sit there and actually sit down with a, you know, a book and you know, read what this person thinks and try to impersonate that. And so I thought that was the interesting movie that I really liked. And then I was like, I really like this character. And then when it's a twist, and, you know, I expected the movie end. She's in the ambulance, and that's how it ends. Hollywood ending, like, it ends happily. And then no, she gets up, jumps out of the ambulance, and she runs to the office. And I'm just like, what? And then I'm also like, but I'm watching a Yorgos Lanthimos movie. It's not going to end the way that I thought it was going to end. It's going to end in a completely different way, and it's going to be weird. It's going to be the guy who did Poor Things is directing this movie. And I'm like, of course it ends this way. And it's really funny that it ends this way. And also, I do think it adds to, like, you know, satire and the themes of the movie and stuff. But there's another movie that I kind of wanted to see, but I'm also not disappointed that I got this ending too. So I see it both ways.
Nice. JD, any last thoughts on Begonia? Or the scene in Begonia, I should say? As Chad bounces.
Because everybody likes it the way that they did it, and I'm one of the people that Matt is. I'm one of those people that Matt is talking about that I did not like. I liked everything up to the reveal that that she was not necessarily who she said she was, or she's not presenting it as was, because I don't necessarily mind that they revealed the truth, quote unquote. I just thought they were I was the one who wanted it to go the other way, which was the mental health route.
Yeah.
Which she was playing it so well that I was buying it as she was an out of touch CEO leader type, that she wasn't the other thing. So it's like, so when they revealed that, I'm like, it didn't fall apart. I'm just like, a lot of the other stuff that I had watched before, I was like, didn't necessarily make certain things didn't make sense to me anymore, because I was reading it the completely opposite way.
But you know what? With I think JD has a point, though, because then I'm also wondering, like, does making Emma Stone kind of the villain of the movie kind of redeem this crazy asshole in the movie?
I wouldn't say she's the villain.
Crazy.
Just because she's an alien doesn't make her the villain.
I don't think she's the villain. I'm just saying, I fought
she was more of a villain when she was just a bitchy CEO.
Correct. I thought that my issue is because I actually didn't think Emma Stone was the villain at all. Like my issue is like that Jesse Clemens is mentally ill. He is clearly mentally ill, and by revealing that he's right, are you? I just feel like it's an.
I don't think it makes it any less because he still did the thing.
It opens a more icky conversation that a can of worms that I'm not necessarily comfortable with.
It's okay. There's a definitely a conversation to be had.
That's where
I
I
don't
was
want to.
like,
I don't want to steer too far away from just the
Yeah,
scene because we
correct.
are just picking the scene. It is a
Correct.
great scene, great production design throughout. No, I know we have still a
Yeah.
lot around to go. So,
correct.
I would love to talk more about Begonia, and we will. Begonia is going to be around all award season, so we'll definitely have our think pieces. Again, if anyone has thoughts, film them. Less than 10 minutes, I'll put them on TikTok. All right. Kerri, we're gonna start round 5, 3 hours in. I'm glad JD you canceled your thing because you would have been long gone by now. But yeah, let's wrap this up. But I still want to give time for discussion, obviously. But we also have honorable mentions to get to. But what is going to be your best? What do you have left? Your anticipated movie? Kerri?
Anticipated. Sorry, Chad. I hope you have another movie on your list. I'm picking Scream 7.
Oh, okay.
I do.
Okay.
We're fine.
Okay.
Why Scream 7, Kerri?
Yeah, so this is my most anticipated, and it could be awful. It could be horrible, but I'm gonna hope for the best and hope that's fantastic. We're gonna have Kevin Williamson direct a Scream movie for the first time. He wrote the first 2 Scream movies and I think the 4th one. He oh my gosh, I totally lost. Oh, and we get Neve Campbell returning back. So I think this is maybe going to be fantastic. And either way, I'm excited for a new Scream movie. And I
Kerri,
think
do you know if Courtney Cox is returning too?
Courtney Cox is also
Yeah,
returning.
because I know she wasn't in the trailer, or at least I didn't see her because I saw the trailer yesterday in front of Marty Supreme. But maybe I missed her in it, but I thought
she's
I didn't
in the
see
trailer
her.
because they did the iconic thing they always do with her, which is she was definitely gonna say a curse word, but they pretended she didn't say a curse word.
Okay, maybe she just wasn't in a lot of the trailers, so I didn't. I guess I did what. Also,
something
I try
like,
not to
let's
pay
get
too much
this
attention.
madman, but she
Gotcha.
really said
Yeah.
fuck her because it's
Yeah.
Gail.
Because I don't pay much attention to trailers, but I'll sometimes glance up and down, and I don't remember seeing her. But that's good. That's good.
Yeah, it was one shot. She was in one shot.
Yeah, it's just a one shot.
Yeah, I mean, Scream. You love or hate Scream. Yeah, and I'm excited for Kevin Williamson himself to like get a shot at the direction of it. Yeah, it could be bad, it could be great, but it's Scream, so obviously we're excited to see it. Scream. Chad, as a Scream aficionado as well, what do you think of Scream 7 as a pick?
Yeah, I mean, I know there's like controversy around it and stuff like that. And I know like not everyone's like past it. I understand all of that as well, but I'm still very excited for this movie because I think, I mean, like Kevin Williamson has said, it's like the first like queer director of a Scream film. So we're going to get like that touch on it. I think that's really exciting. I mean, Kevin Williamson, I haven't liked every single thing that he's directed, but like Scream's his baby. Like he created Scream. Like Wes Craven is like one of the masterminds behind the franchise, but Kevin Williamson, it all birthed from his mind. So I'm so excited to see this go back to Neve and Kevin. And it's just so sweet that like Neve was the one that called Kevin to say, will you direct Scream? And he was like, he was not going to do it until she called him. And so it's just like feels really special kind of going back to the roots. As much as I like the new stuff, I was really nostalgic for the older stuff. So I'm really excited for it to go back to that. I think the new story is going to be really interesting. I'm kind of hoping they like go the next level meta, maybe like a new Nightmare style meta, I think is maybe where they could go with it. And I'm excited to see, because I don't think the trailers have showed like that much that it still could go that way. It's like the first Scream that's going to be in an IMAX. So I'm like really excited to see it on that level as well. And yeah, this is one that I'm just like Oh, I'm so like just ready for this to come out, and just so excited to see if this is going to be great or not. I don't know, but I'm sure I'll still like it either way. And what else? I don't know. I'm just so hyped for this. I love Scream.
Nice. Matt or G?
I'll keep.
Matt?
I'm going to keep it brief. I love every Scream movie. If you haven't seen it, go to my channel, Maddie Loves Movies, and watch the episode of Cinema Soapbox where I definitively prove that who the second killer in Scream 3 is. But I am one of the people who's not past the controversy. But I am going to see this movie. I'm just going to pay for a more deserving movie, and then go into the theater that Scream 7 is in. And I'm not going to talk about the controversy. I'm going to see it. Just I'm not going to pay for it. That's all.
That's fair. It's already getting review bombed on Letterboxd, so I already know that it is going to be a divisive one all year. But I just hope the movie itself is good enough to at least hopefully stand on its own, even without all the controversy. But
I'm just not going to review it.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's going to be my stand.
Yeah. And JD, any thoughts on Scream 7?
I'm going to keep mine short and sweet as well. I'm in a similar boat as Matt. That I'm not saying I'm not going to see it because of it, but the controversy did damper my enthusiasm a lot.
That's fair. Cool. Let's move it on to Chad's final pick. Your most anticipated film of the year, sir. Is it a new one? Is it one of the ones? Is it a backup for one we've already said? What is going to be your most anticipated?
It's I had Scream 7 written down. I had a few. I actually did write Disclosure Day as kind of like a fifth spot because it's Spielberg, and I'm glad that got mentioned. There's two other ones that I'd written down that I'll mention, honorable mentions. I'm sure someone else will. But I'm going to mention one that actually doesn't seem to be hyped by that many people. But for me, I'm very hyped for multiple reasons. I think Kerri knows what I'm going to do. Toy Story 5.
Okay.
The reason I'm hyped for this, so I knew JD would have it somewhere, because he's an animation stan. But yeah, I'm excited for this because I love Toy Story. It's one of the franchises that I grew up with, just obsessed with, and I didn't see the first two in the theater because I was too young, but I saw 3 and 4 in the theater, and I'm just so excited for this one specifically because Kerri and I have talked about this being potentially Elliot's first theater movie.
That's cool.
And
That's cool.
because of that, I'm like, can you get more anticipated for something like an experience than that? Like his first like cinematic like thing. And so, if he's ever going to become a cinephile like us, maybe this is where it starts. I mean, it's already kind of he's like a little mini director where he watches cars and acts out the whole movie with his toys. So I'm sure he's going to end up becoming a cinephile anyways. But yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm excited just to see the return of these characters. I know people are sometimes down on it should have ended with the third one, and I hear that. I hear that criticism, but then they make Toy Story 4 like another great movie, and then you're like, sometimes I'm like, could this be the best one? Like it's just like every single Toy Story, I'm like, it is maybe the best Toy Story movie, and so I have no reason not to think that they're gonna bring me another great animated movie in Toy Story 5. When they give me a mediocre one, then I'll jump on everybody else's wavelength and I'll be like, all right, you guys can stop. But for now, when they keep finding good reasons to, and now it's like the next generation of toys of like, tablets and, how that's a toy now. And so I think when they have like good themes and reasons to bring it back, I think it's going to be like really incredible. So for me, that's like what I'm like super hyped about. I just cannot wait for Toy Story 5 to come out.
Yeah, I love your personal connection as to why you're also anticipating it so much. It's weird because Elliot told me he was really excited for Devil Wears Prada too, but I guess you'll have to just wait till that comes on DVD. No, I really love this choice. Sorry. Oh, Matt hasn't picked his yet. I'm so sorry. I thought that was the last one. I am so sorry.
It's fine.
I know you really want to see that too, you Meryl Streep head. But yeah, I do too. But I do think it's cool that you have that memory already in the making, especially because also another animated movie. I know Puss in Boots is like a sentimental one for you guys with Elliot as well. But yeah, I think I'm amongst the team that's a little skeptical of it. I was skeptical of Toy Story 4 though, and they stuck the landing. The only problem is Chad's like, until they miss one, I'll have faith. They did kind of miss one with Lightyear, in my opinion. Even though that was adjacent, I don't love Lightyear, so I think that is kind of where I was like, okay, maybe they are just doing this for money, but they're going back to the original characters. You know, Lightyear was a kind of experiment that is not necessarily connected entirely to Toy Story, so I do have faith. My only thing is also just like, it was such a perfect, I know so was Toy Story 3, but such a perfect ending, but they literally broke the band up only to like get them back together. I'm just interested by how they're gonna get it back together and justify kind of undoing basically everything of Toy Story 4, whereas Toy Story 4 didn't undo anything from 3. It just expanded upon it, whereas I think Toy Story 5, just by nature of them all being together again in this room, is kind of undoing the ending of 4. But again, could be a meta thing. It could take place before 4 even happens, maybe, because we haven't seen Bo Peep in the trailers. So I don't know where it falls in the lineage. But again, they missed with Lightyear, so I'm worried that they'll miss again with this. But I know, Chad, you love Lightyear, so I do think it's something that I'm really nervously excited for. But also the idea that the villain is going to be clones of Buzz. I'm like, we did that with the second one, but again, I don't know. I'm very excited to see what they're going to do, especially with the whole technology aspect, because I think that's actually a valid thing to talk about, especially with kids and iPad kids and this generation being so glued to their devices, not being able to actually socially interact and connect with other kids. So I do think that is appealing to me. So I'm trepidatiously excited for it. But I do think it's cool that it is represented here, because I know there's a lot of big movies that I feel like Toy Story 5 hasn't been in a lot of people's lists. So I'm glad you get to shed some light on it, because I mean, it's Toy Story. We love Toy Story here. So yeah, Dill Pickle Movie Network is Toy Story positive for sure. JD.
So yeah, this was on my list. It was on my list. I'm very much into Chad camp, where I think each one has gotten better as it's gone on. Oh, well, not necessarily. What you could make the argument that each one is better as each one, and as I have discussed a lot, but Woody is one of my top 5 favorite characters of all time. I just think he is a very nuanced, very, very complex character, and to have that in a kids movie, I think was very novel at the time, and they've done everything that they have to honor it. Also, on the why Woody's back, they've actually addressed that a little bit in interviews. This is actually going to be a Jesse movie, which also kind of fascinates me. And Jesse is the one who goes out to seek his help when the lily pad is introduced. So it seems like he's just in for a visit. He's not going to be there. Like at the end of the movie, he's going to leave again and go back. So that it's, to me, you're still honoring that as a result. So since that's addressed, I don't really care.
Yeah, I mean, he gained his independence as a toy. He can go where he wants. Like that was like the whole kind of thing. So
yeah.
Good point.
So, and then also the other thing that gets me excited is I kind of do want to see the clone of the Army of Buzzes as a, like you say, that's a redo of number 2. I'm not necessarily. It kind of is, but it kind of isn't, and I'm not necessarily. I'm not necessarily. But even if it is, I'm not necessarily mad at that, because like because Tim Allen did such a great job in Toy Story 2, making each Buzz distinctively different from our Buzz, that it's like I kind of As I said, I'm on board until, like Chad said, I'm on board until it fails.
Kerri, as the person also sharing this memory with Chad and Elliot, hopefully, assuming you'll all go to the theater together, all 3 of you, what do you think of this pick?
Yeah, I had a feeling that Chad would pick this, especially, I don't know if he was going to pick this anyways first, but especially after I chose Scream 7, I had a feeling he was going to pick this, and this was on my list as well. So yeah, like, I'm excited. I think it'll be, even if the movie is not, I don't know, is not fantastic, which I'm really hoping it is. It lives up to the rest of the main Toy Story franchise. But even if it's not fantastic, it'll be a good time for us.
Absolutely. Matt?
I think I'm the odd man out, and Toy Story 4 just didn't really do it for me. I liked it. It just didn't really do it for me. but I'm always open for really anything, and I'm happy to see another one if they aren't going to let Toy Story 3, which is the best one in my opinion, and one of the 100 greatest movies of all time, I think probably. I don't know if that's true, but
It is.
they aren't going to let that be the end if they're going to keep. They already did 4, so keep going, make 10. I don't know. But as far, I don't think Lightyear counts as a Toy Story movie. Because
no, it's adjacent. It's adjacent.
The movie that they're watching. Like the movie Lightyear could have been awful, and that just means that Andy likes an awful movie. Like,
yes, there you go.
Yeah. I was more so going off the lines of like, okay, this creative team is wanting to evolve the Toy Story IP. This is what they chose to do versus like actual continuity of the story. If that makes sense.
Yeah, but it's like a different genre, so it doesn't
Sure.
really translate as. I'm not worried. Basically, I'm not worried. I'm not worried about the mainline franchise based on Lightyear. I thought it was fine. I liked franchise. I liked the movie enough. I liked the concept. I think more that it was a movie within the universe. But than the movie itself. But I'm gonna watch this. My oldest son's first in theater movie was Monsters University, so also a Pixar movie.
There you go. Sweet.
Yeah.
You are next, so you can transition to your final pick, which is going to be your movie. Or no, you picked your movie. What's it going to be? You're
anticipated. Okay. This is hard because there's a lot that I'm anticipating. There's one that I think, I don't know. I'll talk about it in honorable mentions, but there's one that I am very excited about, but I think will probably be a detriment to my list, so I'm not going to say it. So I think I'm going to go with one of my most anticipated from last year that didn't come out last year, so it's coming out this year, and that is The Bride. That was that was the Frankenstein movie I was excited to see, more than I was excited to see the Guillermo del Toro one. And I'm still excited. Even we've seen the trailer. I love those two actors so much that I'm really excited. I think it's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Made an appearance last year. I think Carly might have picked it, and back this year. This thing moved to a different season of the year, which means it's probably not going to be an Oscar darling, but I'm really excited for it. I'm excited for a good Frankenstein movie because we haven't gotten one since Poor Things. That's my hot take of the day. All right. Any thoughts on The Bride? I'll go to my horror buffs up there. Chad, thoughts on?
I really like GDT's Frankenstein, so that's my not hot take.
Each their own.
my warm, cool take. But I am actually excited for this. Although when I saw the trailer, I was like, "Oh, what is this movie gonna be?" So I'm like, I'm kind of like really like confused, but also kind of like intrigued. Like, okay. But I mean, I don't. Maggie Gyllenhaal's doing it. I didn't like her previous movie that much, so I'm interested to see if she's like evolving as a filmmaker, and this is going to be really good or what. So I'm a little bit on the fence as far as like what I think this is actually going to be. But with GDT's Frankenstein being something I actually liked, I am even more excited for more Frankenstein type stuff.
Kerri, thoughts on The Bride? Any thoughts?
Yeah, I'm excited for this one. I also did not. I wasn't the biggest fan of Maggie Gyllenhaal's first directed movie, but I do love her as an actress. I'm really excited to see what she does with this story. And obviously, like Jessie Buckley's phenomenal. I'll watch her in anything, so I'm excited for that.
Yeah, JD,
was her first movie Lost Daughter?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I liked that movie, but I know I'm in the minority on that.
Yeah.
It's a hard watch.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
GD?
First off, my take on GT's Frankenstein, it was fine. It was fine.
Yeah.
It was perfectly fine. I tell you,
we didn't mean to bring up that can of
one way or the other, but The Bride.
We're gonna move on to The Bride.
Bride, what's good to The Bride? The Bride. I am intrigued by this movie, especially since there are rumors that it's actually a musical.
Mhm.
Potentially. So
I
that
think Johnny
intrigues
Greenwood
me.
too, right? I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm on.
Ooh, does
I am
Chad know
definitely.
that? That might get him excited.
That
That
is,
Johnny
yeah,
Johnny Greenwood wrote all the original music for it.
yes, correct. Yeah.
Does he
So
know that?
What?
yeah,
The
Yeah.
musical music for The Bride is
Johnny
Johnny
Greenwood
Greenwood. Yeah.
musical. Yeah.
All right, I'm sold.
yeah.
I believe
Let's
that
go.
happened exactly a year ago when we did this last year. We did the
I
same
was
thing.
sold then, and
And
I'm sold again now. I forgot.
Yeah. So yeah, but as I said, I'm intrigued. It wasn't in my top 5, but I'm intrigued.
cool. We have 2 picks left. I'm gonna pick a series. It's probably I'm not the only person who's seen the series because I know Chad at least has too, and maybe Matt, and maybe Kerri. Actually, you might have all seen it. It's a movie original. Ooh. Which is Hal and Harper, which came out all the way back last year at Sundance. I honestly haven't seen it since last year at this time when it came out on Sundance for a Sundance screening. So I can't really talk to a lot of specifics about it. It's a Cooper Raiff series. Him and Lily Reinhart play these coming of age kind of time of their life, young adults who are, trying to figure out their lives while also dealing with family stuff and romances. But it also has all these flashbacks and intercuts with them as kids. And they are played by the adult actors playing kids. So it's like a bunch of like actual children actors, and then the 2 of them as like children. It's like a purposeful man-child thing. So it's a really cool experiment. Mark Ruffalo is heartbreaking in it. Cooper Raiff is solid. I love how he lets his other actors share the spotlight. It doesn't make it a self-indulgent ego project, even though a lot of people like to believe he is that type of director and writer. I just think his movies, he is my age, so he speaks very directly to my type of experiences and age and just my generation and just who I am as well. I think we are very similar type people. So I do like just him as a filmmaker. I think a lot of his work has really resonated with me. Lily Reinhart, though, I think gives the best performance in the whole thing. She's fantastic, and I haven't really seen her in a ton of other stuff because I'm not a Riverdale person. But she is excellent in it. They dumped it on Mubi, didn't dump it there. I'm glad it got some sort of distribution, but it was on Sundance. I watched the whole thing at Sundance. It was the last thing I watched, and I saved it for like 10 p.m. and didn't then realize that I'd be up till like 6 a.m. watching it, but I didn't mind because I loved it. And then I remember, it got acquired by Mubi and kind of just came and went. It didn't really make a huge splash. So I hope it gets some sort of reappraisal or rediscovery over the next few months or years. Or if Cooper Raiff makes a bigger name for himself, people will go back and be like, this is really good. Because it is the type of series that I think if it was on HBO, it would get nominated for everything because it's just got, Mark Ruffalo, high profile actor. But just came and went. But I really do like it. I think it's very sincere, very heartfelt, very funny, but also very heartbreaking. And that's all I'll kind of say because I know it's not as well known, so I don't want to take too much time talking about it. And it's been so long that even I can't really parse together all the details. But I felt like it was the most emotional thing I've seen since like This Is Us in terms of the way it made me kind of like really kind of like become a puddle after every episode. So I'm really excited that I get to represent it here, even though I had another backup that was probably more appealing to at least my audience that watches this channel, but I'll talk about that in honorable mentions. I'm sure Matt knows what I'm talking about. But any thoughts on Hal and Harper? I know Chad, you saw it. Did Kerri, you see it too, or no? Yeah, no. Okay. So Chad,
This is
yeah.
one at Sundance that I picked up like kind of last minute, and I was like, I want another thing to watch, and I grabbed it, and then like I can't remember what Kerri and Elliot did, but I think you guys went somewhere, and maybe you went to like swim or something. But like I watched this for like hours, like all in like one kind of go, and it took up like a whole Sunday or something, and kind of like this show has done. but
Sorry.
but no, that's okay. But Hal and Harper, I think is really, really great. It is one of those things to where I feel like if it was like an Apple Plus kind of a thing, like a lot of people would be talking about it because it is so emotional. So like a lot of great acting in it, and a really cool, unique way of telling the story, like you said, with them playing their like childhood selves, and it's jarring at first, but then it like really becomes super emotional because of that. And Mark Ruffalo is amazing. So yeah, it is one of those shows that you watch and you go, oh my god, wow, okay. Because I was also kind of like not sure, because I know Dylan is a Cooper Raiff stan, but then I'm like, I know a lot of people kind of view it as kind of more of like a pretentious kind of thing sometimes. And so then I was like on the skeptical about it, and then I was sold especially by the end of it. I was like, no, this is just great. Never mind.
Yeah.
So watch it if you can get Mubi.
Cool. Anyone want to comment on it? I don't think Matt or JD have seen this either, right?
I haven't seen it, but I like Cha Cha Real Smooth. So
Yes, love that movie. JD, anything?
So I also haven't seen it. I was aware of it. I was not a fan of Cha Cha Real Smooth, so it got lower on my list. I am going to plan on checking it out.
Cool.
Give it a shot.
Cool. And I know, Kerri, you haven't seen it. So let's wrap it up with JD's pick, and then we'll get to some honorable mentions. But JD, you got to give us your MVP. Who are you going to round out this draft? Who's going to be your Mr. Irrelevant pick for the draft?
So, it's fine. It's what I like. I like giving this to like character actors who are a bunch of just or stand out in a bunch of things. And to me, this year, I'm gonna give it to Mark Hamill.
Oh, cool pick. Yeah, cool pick.
I think he was great as the antagonist in The Long Walk. I thought he was very menacing. He had a real presence, is what you needed for that role, and you understand why everybody's afraid of him and what he around him. And then also just Life of Chuck, which it was raved about in 2024 at TIFF, and then kind of just disappeared. I saw it when it came out in June, but people had been talking about how Marty Supreme this year was the Jewish movie of the year. As the resident Jew here, I will tell you that that Mark Hamill was reminded me a lot of my granddad. He reminded me so much of my granddad, and it was it just that regardless of what you think about the movie, I think his performance as somebody who's had his whole life upended, and then just has to move on and care for his grandson, and then the way he talks about my granddad wasn't like that, but like the stuff where they're talking about you need to be sensible, you need to be him about trying to get him into accounting, you really should be exploring accounting, like my granddad had a saying that sayings like, Josh, you need to think really, Josh, you need to think like all that he just reminded me so much of my granddad. So yeah, that, as I said, that is my pick.
Great pick. Yeah. I love Mark Hamill. He's obviously a legend. He's iconic to me and special to me as well. I thought he was the best part of a movie I didn't love with Life of Chuck, and then I thought it was the weakest part of a movie I loved, which was Long Walk. But either way, he created two very distinct, very memorable characters that are nothing like him or his Luke Skywalker persona, which I really appreciated. He's taking bigger swings to do something different with his later in life career, and I really like seeing just the different kind of characters he's taken on. So great pick there.
Was he only in Stephen King adaptations this year?
Yes.
Maybe, yeah. I don't think he was in anything
Yes.
else, so that's pretty fun.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and kind of fulfilling a very similar role, like as the character-y, gravelly voice, old man. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Matt, do you have any thoughts on Mark Hamill? I mean, obviously everyone has thoughts on Mark
I have
Hamill,
lots of thoughts on
year?
Mark Hamill, but
this year,
specifically.
specifically?
No, I love Mark Hamill. He's the best Joker. But I liked him. I liked him in both movies. I will agree with Dylan that he was probably the weakest part of Long Walk. But I agree with you also that he was menacing, like that gravelly voice thing. He just wasn't there very much, and that wasn't really the great, like what that movie was really doing. So,
Exactly.
but yeah, I think it's a great pick because I love Mark Hamill.
Yeah, Chad.
So there we go.
Yeah, this is such a great pick that I'm sad that I didn't think of it because I love The Life of Chuck, and I really liked The Long Walk. So a little bit of a level there, I think, but both I think are really good. And both Stephen King stuff. So obviously I'm going to be on board. One Mike Flanagan. So obviously I'm going to be on board. But yeah, Mark Hamill, I like haven't always loved, but seeing him, and I'll mention it that like the Last Jedi, I think is one of his best performances, and then also like seeing him give two really good performances as well. One reminded JD of a family member, which is really cool. Like that's how good the performance is. And I just think he's just really incredible in those two movies. And it's just like every time I think about Mark Hamill, I just like think about what a good actor he is, especially going into the Mike Flanagan family. Like he was in that the House of Usher show, and he was really good in that. And then also even just seeing him like on talk shows impersonating Harrison Ford, and I'm like, dude is like amazing, like with his like voice work and impersonations and stuff. So yeah, he's just an incredible actor.
No, as I said, he nailed the Jewish grandpa. He just nailed it. And then I agree with you. He wasn't in The Long Walk that much, but I think when he was there, I thought he was powerful.
Yeah, he was good. I think that cast is stacked. That like I just like everyone else more. I will also say, JD, really quick, who would win in a fight, Judd Hirsch and the Fablemans or Mark Hamill and Life of Chuck?
Ooh. Probably Judd Hirsch.
Yeah, because the other one's a drone.
Yeah, it was Judd Hirsch.
I was just making a comparison. Kerri, any thoughts on Mark Hamill?
Yeah, I think this is a great pick. I didn't see The Long Walk, but I did really love him in Life of Chuck, and that's really, really special, JD, that you like felt such a connection to his performance.
Amazing. So there we have it. We finally finished this draft. I will say I just got the low battery alert on my computer, so we're gonna have to make honorable mentions pretty fast. I think plugs, these guys are all over the channel, so if you find any other video, you will likely run into one of them. I'll have them plug down below. So we're gonna do honorable mentions. I'm gonna read off the draft boards first, just so you can go vote. Kerri, Sinners, Ray Seahorn, Alien Earth, The Office Visit in Begonia, and Scream 7 as your most anticipated. Chad, Josh O'Connor MVP, Adolescence, One Battle After Another, The Ending of Superman, and most anticipated Toy Story 5. Matt, I Lied to You from Sinners, Amy Madigan MVP, The Pit, Weapons, and most anticipated The Bride. Dylan, Marty Supreme, the hot dog scene from Naked Gun, MVP Steven Soderbergh, most anticipated Disclosure Day, and then Hallen Harper. And JD, Andor Season 2, No Other Choice, most anticipated The Odyssey, Gladys Visits the Principal in Weapons, and your MVP Mark Hamill. There's the list. Really, really great board here. All the big films of 2025 represented, except for one that we did have many tangents about, which is Avatar, which I guess I'll just start for film runner-ups. Avatar Fire and Ash was in my top 5. I hope we get to talk about that on Picture This, even though it's looking grimmer by the day. And then the one big one that after I watched, I was like, this might be my favorite movie of the year, was Jay Kelly. I just really, really liked it. But I think with time I've been like, okay, maybe the other ones are slightly better, but I thought Jay Kelly was super solid. And I've heard Sentimental Value is just a better version of Jay Kelly. So I'm like, all right, cool, I'm sold. And I haven't seen that yet, so I need to really catch up on my international stuff this week. But JD, I'll just go around clockwise or counterclockwise, I guess, for honorable mentions for films. Let's keep it as brief as possible because we've got a lot of honorable mentions to get to.
Yeah, no worries. It was just an accident. Little Emil, or the character of Rain, really good animation movie. The Long Walk, and then the only one we didn't talk about was F1, which I know Dill wasn't a fan of, but I loved a lot.
Matt, honorable mentions for movies.
I had a lot of these on here: Begonia, Train Dreams, Hamnet, Wake Up Dead Man, Superman, Mickey 17, Long Walk, Freaky Tales, Merrily We Roll Along, and Next to Normal.
Yes, 2 Broadway pro shots, love it. Chad, movie honorable mentions.
Yeah, I had The Life of Chuck, I had Hamnet, and not The Naked Gun, but another great 2025 comedy, Friendship.
Oh, we'll talk about that in a sec. Kerri, honorable mentions for movies.
Sorry, Baby, One of Them Days, and The Baltimoreans.
Nice. All right, we're gonna start with JD for series honorable mentions. Did you have any series honorable mentions?
Okay, I'm just gonna mention one because the rest of these really shouldn't be on here. Death by Lightning, which was about the if you love assassins, it's about the assassination of God, Which
Some
one was it? Yeah,
political
one of the ones in Assassins. It's basically
Nice.
a feature length series of that.
Cool. Very cool. Matt, did you have any honorable mentions for shows?
Pee-wee as himself,
Mhm.
the documentary series. And I'll just say it. I like Stranger Things season 5. I think it did just fine
Cool.
in the end.
I haven't
So there
seen
we
it,
are.
so I can't comment. I'm not gonna create groupthink with the internet because I haven't seen it. But Chad, honorable mentions for series.
Yeah, Pluribus, Alien Earth, but I also did, if in a pinch those were taken, I wrote down ones I have started but haven't finished. Stranger Things and Welcome to Derry has a lot of hype behind it.
Nice. Kerri.
Severance season 2 and The Studio, I think was 2025, right? So
Yeah, I think so. I haven't seen the studio, but I've heard it's really good.
I haven't seen Studio yet either, but I forgot about Severance. That would have been on my list. I wouldn't have picked it. I picked Severance last time, but
I think so.
last time when it was
Death by
Yeah.
Lightning was about James Garfield.
James Garfield. Gotcha. My honorable mention, the only other one I wrote down, I watched Traders US season 3. I didn't love it as much as others. But Survivor Australia versus the World would have been my backup because just seeing the best people from every single country play Survivor, and then one of my favorite Survivor players showing that she is the GOAT, was awesome. I loved it.
I need to get my VPN stuff so I can
Yay
find you all.
Parvati, yay Parvati, MVP. All right, Matt. Speaking of MVPs, what MVP honorable mentions do you have?
I have Pedro Pascal, because he's great, and I have Noah Wyle because he's finally getting his due. He was nominated a lot for ER, never won, and now he's won an Emmy for The Pit. So I'm very happy for him.
Nice. Chad, honorable mentions for MVPs.
I went first with this one because I struggled with it. I just wrote down Josh O'Connor, Steven Soderbergh, and Leo DiCaprio.
Nice. Kerri.
Jesse Buckley and Jacob Elordi.
Nice. My honorable mentions for MVP. Pedro Pascal was going to be my actor if you guys didn't let me have Soderbergh because Materialists, Last of Us season 2, Eddington, and Fantastic Four all came out in the span of like 3 months, which is insane. And also doing SNL 50, which was incredible.
And Freaky Tales.
And Freaky Tale, oh my gosh, which is his best performance of the year. It's because it's on technically on 2024 for I didn't have it up on my Letterboxd, but so good. I also considered Josh Brolin, even though I didn't see Wake Up Dead Man because he's been in a few things this year, including Weapons as well. Benicio del Toro was in One Battle After Another in the lead of Phoenician Scheme, and Wendell Pierce, who was in Thunderbolts, Superman, and Highest to Lowest. And then I also consider Richard Linklater as a director, even though I haven't seen either of his 2 movies, but having 2 Golden Globe nominated Best Picture movies is pretty epic. And then this is a bit of a stretch only because I think she's just had a great year, even though she's only been in Avatar. But Zoe Saldana winning her Oscar, being in Avatar, which was a huge hit, and then becoming the highest grossing actor of all time this year was pretty epic, even though she technically got that title this year, 2026. So because Avatar trickled over, but I wanted to give her a shout out. JD, any MVPs left on your list?
Yeah. So Dakota Johnson, great in The Materialist and Splitsville. Amanda Seyfried, great in The Housemaid, just the right amount of cheese. And looking forward to The Testament of Anne Lee in a couple weeks. Ben Lang, the best thing in Karate Kid Legends and great in The Long Walk. And Adriana Jonia for Andor season 2. And again, Splitsville. She was great in Splitsville.
Yeah, she's really good in Splitsville. I didn't know she was in Andor. I got to check that out now. Okay. Best scene, MVP, or sorry, runner-ups. Chad, best scene.
The only scene that I haven't talked about that I wrote down was from The Naked Gun. It's actually the scene that made me laugh the hardest, which was the snowman montage. That whole scene, because it takes like a crazy horror turn, and I was just dying during that part. So,
Kerri, any MVP or scene honorable mentions?
The MRI scene from Final Destination Bloodlines, the end of Weapons, and from One Battle After Another, the scene at the dance where Willa meets Deandra.
Yes, very good.
Can I just say about just real quick about the MRI scene? I like that scene, but I don't like it because the character who died should have been the character that survived and went on to the next movie. But anyway,
There you go. My honorable mentions scene was my longest list, so I'll go really quick. The whole train sequence in Jay Kelly is so good. From meeting all the fans to the save, is so good. And all Adam Sandler stuff on the train is amazing. The Billy Crudup scene in Jay Kelly, I think he's more of a supporting actor standout than Adam Sandler for me, and they're both great. But Billy Crudup stole the show. The Oneer in the barn in Sinners, we already Matt chose that one. The car chase in One Battle After Another. The Superman scene I would have chosen was the one where he talks with his father just on the porch when he sits down and talks with his dad. That's a great scene. The fight scene in Splitsville, some of the best stunt work of the year. I also had the snowman scene on my runner-up. I had the opening sequence of Final Destination on my list. The lie detector scene in Black Bag. Here you go, Chad. The trip to Subway in Friendship. The trip to Subway was amazing. Emphasis on trip. The ending of Begonia. The ending of Lurk. The ending of Lurker. And then all my Marty Supreme scenes, I'll shout out a few of them. The honey scene with the war and the honey diffusing the bomb with the honey all over his chest is insane. I love it. The bathtub scene, all the table tennis scenes, I wrote down like 6 of them. When he gets spanked by Mr. Wonderful, the opening sequence, the ending sequence, and the final match where he almost has to kiss the pig. Yeah, love them all. JD, scene, honorable mentions.
Let's see. Few of them had already been mentioned, so the ones that haven't been mentioned, the final race of F1, I think that's great visually. The housemaid, Andrew's perfect teeth, I'll just leave it at that.
Yes.
And then the Predator, Thea, Bud, and Deck versus the Synthetics. Predator Badlands.
Which one is that? That the live action one or the
live action one?
Nice. Cool. Yeah, we got 2 Predator movies. That should have been the MVP, was the Predator.
Yes.
Matt, honorable mentions for scenes.
I literally had one written down.
Oh, nice. Yeah, you knew. You were like, I'm getting a scene in the barn. Period. All right. Most anticipated list. I have my video coming out, so I won't talk forever about it. But Kerri, what are your honorable mentions for most anticipated?
Ready or Not 2, Evil Dead Burn, and They Will Kill You.
Cool. My honorable mentions were Dune 3. Cannot believe no one picked Dune 3. Also, Greta Gerwig's Narnia film, and then Mother Mary, the new David Lowery film starring Anne Hathaway, and then the sequel to The Social Network, The Social Reckoning, starring Mikey Madison. I am so hyped for that. JD, what are your honorable mentions for most anticipated?
I only have 2. So first off, Coyote versus Acne.
Yes.
I've been following that thing since 2018 when Chris McKay was going to do it after the Lego Batman movie. I've just been so hyped for that. And then the other one that I had that probably most people don't know about is Flowervale Street, which is the film that was supposed to Anne Hathaway and Ewan McGregor they made the Jurassic World Rebirth was trying to beat the theaters.
And it's by what's his name, David.
The guy who did It Follows, David Robert Mitchell.
It Follows. Yeah. I don't need to know what it's about because they haven't really told us. I'm just excited.
But as I said, they were as I said, the rumor is that it involved. They were trying to beat. Jurassic World Rebirth was trying to beat that. Take that for what you will.
Okay, Matt, honorable mentions for anticipated movies.
Okay, so I'm very excited about Avengers Doomsday. I wasn't going to put it on my thing because I figured that might have an opposite effect. But especially with that X-Men trailer, I'm just excited. I don't care if it's bad. I don't care if it doesn't do if it just shits on the rest of the MCU. I'm going to be excited. I'm going to be there. Godzilla Minus Zero, Narnia, The Magician's Nephew, Ready or Not 2, Here I Come, Supergirl, Spider-Man Brand New Day, Flowervale Street, Clayface, Digger. My love of Inarritu is overpowering my dislike for Tom Cruise, so it does make it to the list. And Werewolf, because I'm excited that he is that he had Witch, Nosferatu, and now he's going with werewolves. I'm excited about that.
He's just collecting the horror monsters like Infinity Stones. Right. Chad, any last honorable mentions for most anticipated?
Evil Dead Burn, Sam Raimi's Send Help, The Magician's Nephew, and the new Spider-Man movie.
Nice. So there we have it. We've done the draft. We've done the honorable mentions. We're getting it done before 4 hours. We have another draft coming to you next month, Survivor Draft in celebration of Survivor 50, which Matt, you will also be on. But yeah, really, really great draft. Thank you guys so much. We'll have you plug all your stuff down below. I'll really quickly say Matt is on Framewreck here. If you go back, we're gonna find time to record a new episode soon. But you can watch our old episodes there, and also check out his channel, Matty Loves Movies. There's some great content on there. I can't believe I use the C word. It's just the quickest thing that came to my mind. JD is on Marvel's Trivia. You can see him all around this channel, various shows, Draft Day as well. Kerri also on our channel in Trivia, Draft Day, or also her channel, Welcome to Primetime with Chad, which he hosts with Kerri and Hunter Chambliss. And Chad also does his own stuff on Cinema Chad, ranking videos. Are you ranking with me? And then also picture this here on the channel. I think I plugged everything I needed to plug for now. If you have anything extra to plug, please plug it in the comments below or description below. I will do it if you want me to. But thank you guys so much. My battery's on 2%. We hung on all the way because I can't now charge. I got a new laptop, so I can't charge and use my mic at the same time. So it's a real balancing act. But we did it. We made it all 4 hours. And thank you guys for watching. Please vote. And we will see you all real soon. Thanks so much, and take care.